them to be like haunted, right? And I'll provoke it, you know, like everyone's all like weary, and I'll be like, you know, come on, bitch. Like,
I try to.
Yeah. And you know, people with me are freaking out, like, Dex, don't do that, man. Like, it's not gonna happen, man. Nothing's gonna happen. You know, play with Ouija boards. The interesting thing with that is, like, you know, I'll be with a group of people and I'll do it, you know, with someone, and it won't work. And then if I leave or if I'm not playing on it, it'll work. So, you know, I'm pretty sure that's with those, at least it's you know, a psychological thing.
I think so too.
I mean, paranormal stuff in general, I'm open to. I'm kind of neutral on it, just because I don't really have evidence one way or another. But with actual, like, you know, Ouija boards and possession, stuff like that, I don't. Yeah.
Well, for me too, like, it's kind of a big contradiction for me to believe in like ghosts and spirits or whatever, because I don't necessarily believe in an afterlife.
The same. I'm the same way. Yeah.
So if I want to believe in a ghost and a spirit, I gotta like stretch it out to this long convoluted thing where it's like, does our consciousness have like a weight to it, and once we die, that's what it is?
Exactly. Yeah. And you know, the way I see it is, consciousness is just brain activity, right? Like when you're dead, you don't have any brain activity. So exactly. I just kind of think it's like, you know, before you were born, you know, you just nothing, you know. Right. But you know, if I see evidence proving,
you want one of these?
Oh no, I'm chilling. Thanks, man. Yeah. But yeah, if I see evidence pointing towards something, you know, I'm open to it. I just don't see any evidence right now, except for like people's like, oh, I felt it. Now I know it's true. That kind of stuff.
Well, and it's one of those things too, where like, I think when you're with a group of people who all heavily believe and want there to be something, they're gonna start hearing and seeing things.
Yeah, and that's an actual effect too. Like, I can't remember what it's called, but apparently, you know, if you go in somewhere and you like even have the thought of in your mind of like, I might see something, you know. Right. This place is haunted. I might hear something. You're gonna see a light flicker, and it's gonna appear as like a person. Right. And you know, and I'm no stranger to seeing things, but like, I can just acknowledge, you know, they're not there. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's how I am on it. But you know, if I see, you know, I've tried to invoke demons before. Yeah. You know? Just, I didn't think anything would happen, you know. It was just like, come forth, you know, nothing. Like, it's just, which sucks because everyone talks about these crazy experiences, and like, I'm just like, come on, man. Like,
and what's weird is Forrest and I like have gone all over Utah and gone to all the places and like tried to do all the shit, and in reality, there hasn't been anything that was like
absolutely just absurd.
Yeah,
it's like, I don't know, it's a little weird, but it's like,
I've had little like weird things happen,
but nothing.
You know, I had this one time, and I could have just been I think it was the start of a series of hallucinations, because I just barely moved into my my childhood house, right? Yeah. That I grew up in until I moved out, you know, a couple years ago, and it's in Kaysville, and it was the first night there, and you know, even before that, I was kind of susceptible to hearing and seeing stuff, and just paranoid and stuff. Yeah. But so I heard this noise, so I looked out my window, and there was just this like figure standing there, and he had really pale face, but I couldn't really make out like even like a gender, you know, like it just looked very like human-like, but just not quite there.
Right.
That scared the hell out of me, man. Like, I ran into my parents' room, I was like, guys, there's demons outside, like, you know. But I mean, that's pretty much it. And then, you know, after that, I've just seen my normal stuff. But yeah, for sure.
And for me too, like, a lot of it's like in the moment, like, you're super hyped up, you're like, oh, that shit was crazy. But then when you go, you're like driving home or whatever, you're sitting there thinking like, oh, it could have been this, could have been that.
Exactly. Yeah, you come to like more logical conclusions. Yeah. You know, they say don't make any decisions in an emotional state because, you know, the brain's so powerful. You know, you'll think irrationally. You know? But if you just keep calm and just think about the situation. But yeah, I think you're right. You know, later on, you're like, oh, it could have been that. You know?
Right. Yeah. So I think the only one where we've ever had where it was weird was Skinwalker. We've brought that up a lot. Skinwalker Ranch is out in Franklin or whatever.
Yeah, it's way the hell out there.
We have video and like a picture of something that looks kind of fucking weird.
I can show the picture.
Yeah. And still to this day, we don't know. Like, we tried talking to like alien experts, but
nothing.
They were like, that's a cool picture. It's kind of weird, but
like, because we didn't see that. It was just That's just like a
hell
screenshot of
is
the
that?
video. That's what we're, like. We
Yeah.
didn't see that in person.
I've never
Yeah, we're like.
seen anything like that.
Yeah.
Man. That's a trip and a half.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, like we didn't see that in person, which
No.
is probably good. Like,
Yeah, that would have
Yeah,
sucked.
saw, like,
for real.
what the fuck is that? But yeah, our friend was just filming, and then he was watching the video later. What the fuck was that? And then,
A lot of times that happens. Too.
yeah,
Mhm.
You don't see anything weird, but then like later you're looking through like the pictures and there's some weird shit and
Yeah.
some weird footage and stuff.
Well, and I kind of think too, like the people who go out to try and find it are usually unsuccessful. It seems like the people who try to avoid it
Are the
are the
ones
ones
that.
that have the
It's
experience.
same with possession, man. It's only religious people who get possessed.
Yeah.
It's never
You hear
non-religious
about an
people.
atheist unless he's trying to write a book
Yeah.
or something.
Right.
Yeah. But it's always the religious people.
Yeah.
They're the ones that are always, have a possession. But I've never heard of an atheist.
No.
Unless it's they write a book about it and
Right.
stuff like that. But
Possessions for me is just like there's always extremes in like every category, and I feel like
Right.
possession is the farthest extreme you could go.
I absolutely agree. I mean, there's not much more to it than like there's not. It can't go really any further than
Yeah.
No.
a demon entering your body.
Right.
And I feel like if possession was real by now, I would have been possessed
Right.
by something.
Right.
I'll be like in a with arguing with some religious people. Like I like to go to the Pride Festival.
Yeah.
In my like black robes,
Yeah.
and I'll just scare off the protesters. Yeah. I love confrontation. I love and the. And obviously I'm not an actual devil worshiper, but it's
Yeah,
they
yeah.
don't know that.
Right,
yeah.
It's not like they're gonna research it.
Yeah.
They're just like, oh, Satan,
Yeah.
evil. And so, I'll go there and I'll just be like, quodus in perpetuum, Christa dalavast, start speaking in Latin and like, bring forth Belial and, Asmodee, all these like demons, and nothing happens, man. And I heard that like, they always say if you call a demon's name, it'll like, they like that shit. But
Right.
I feel like if possession was real, something would have happened by
Right.
now. You know what I mean?
Well, and it kind of goes with the whole ghosts and UFOs and stuff like that. Like, we all have phones right now that are very capable of capturing good video,
Oh yeah.
and we still don't have anything that's like concrete.
No, it's always like some lights.
Yeah.
Or like,
Yeah.
Like,
Shaky video.
I saw a possession one where it was like this guy, he had been recording with like a Nokia from like 2002, and it's like all shaky and fuzzy, and like this lady's eyes are like rolling, and I'm like, you're telling me not one person in that room has like an iPhone and can capture like this perfectly? Because that'd be pretty crazy.
That would be. Have you seen that one where the the girl's being possessed and she's all screaming and stuff, and then the exorcist is like hitting her with a cross and stuff.
Yeah.
And then there's a guy behind him that's just like he's just like looking at him like it's bullshit.
Yeah.
Get out of
He's like,
here,
what the fuck
like,
is this?
oh man.
The best is like, why would demons and stuff be afraid of crosses? Like,
I don't think they'd give a shit.
that's what I
No.
was like.
It's a piece of wood.
I think that's part of the religious. Like I think of it really as just like a story and like
Yeah.
because I think that's part of their thing is like everything has there's a good side and a bad side.
Yeah.
Revelation there's going to be this big war and Jesus is going to come
Right.
back and kick Satan's ass and all this stuff. But like I don't think if demons were real, for one, I don't think they'd be mad at us if we were doing bad things.
No.
And the other thing is I don't think they'd really care about crosses and Jesus's name. Like
No, not at
it's
all.
just yeah.
I think it's one of those things that, and this is why I do think possession stuff is fake. I think they have those crosses and those certain verses that they'll say to people, and it will like show the demon getting fucked up inside the body
Yeah.
to try and show how powerful the cross is.
Exactly. That's
It doesn't
the
have
thing.
any actual power, but they're trying to give it power.
Yeah, and symbols have power, I think, and I think the cross does have symbolic power.
Yeah.
Definitely
It has,
symbolic.
it has very kind of like the American flag.
Right.
It's very it's a powerful symbol, but I think the cross does have a lot of power, not actual like.
Yeah, not actual
but,
like physical.
it,
power.
it gets people people take that shit seriously. So I think you're right about that for sure.
So what got you down? Like, I want to hear the backstory of where you became like.
Satanist.
Yeah, like where did it start?
So I grew up. My parents were divorced, right? 'Cause my dad was like a hella drug addict and whatnot. So my dad was just kind of not really religious at all. And then my mom was LDS, and then she. So what we do is, I go to my dad's every week. Excuse me, every weekend. So one weekend I go to the LDS church, and then the next weekend I just not go to church with my dad, and then eventually my dad joined Buddhism, became a Buddhist, which I respect for the most part.
Yeah.
Buddhists, I've never really had a problem with them.
No.
Not for me, a little too peaceful. I like the chaos. But so I'd start going to his temple. On one weekend, the next go to my mom's, right? And at the time, even at a young age, I was probably like 7 at the time. I was just like, I just don't care, It was just like I don't want to be in either of these. So then, when my dad died when I was like 8, I obviously didn't go to his house every weekend, so I'd have to go to church every Sunday.
Oh.
And I remember being like 10. And I remember them in, one of the Sunday schools or something like that. They were like, they were reading from Revelation. They were talking about, God's going to come back and he's going to fuck us all up. He's pissed this time, everything's going to burn and, the sinners will die and all this. And I was like, that scared the hell out of me, man. Being that, I don't think they should teach it to kids that young.
Absolutely
But anyway, so I didn't like that. And, I just started finding things that I just did not like, that I just thought were weird. And like I remember sitting there, they all put their hands on your head, and I'm just sitting there like, it's fucking awkward. I don't like this, So then I remember I was 12, and they gave a challenge. They're like, I want all of you to read the Book of Mormon. I was like, me being the kind of a one-upper, I was like, I'm just gonna read the whole Bible. So I did. I read the whole Bible, and now at this point, I've probably read it like 3 or 4 times all the way through. But so I read the whole Bible, and at that point, I went from just kind of to just full-blown atheist. Just I read that, and like nothing turned me atheist faster than the Bible.
Oh,
right.
for sure.
Especially Old Testament, like Leviticus.
You're like, what is going on?
Yeah, I was like, damn, God's a prick,
right?
Like, and then I started researching more scientific stuff, and I was like, there's no way. There's no way in hell there's a magical guy up there who gets mad at if you worship another god.
Right.
And even if he is, I don't like him.
He's an asshole.
And even at that point, I was like, man, if the God is real and the devil's real, I'd still take the devil's side.
Mm-hmm.
I like what he's doing. He's kind of just like, God, I don't really like you. I'm gonna do my own thing. And God's like, hell, Yeah. So I was an atheist for a long time, and I went on this I had this goal to read all the main holy books, right? So the Torah, which is obviously the first 5 books of the Bible.
Right.
It's the Jewish. Holy book, and then I read the Quran. That one was brutal too. And then I read the Book of Mormon, Pearl of Great Price, Doctrine and Covenants, and then finally, and some Scientology books. Yeah, there's something else. There's actually a Scientology headquarters right next to my apartment downtown. Unfortunately. Anyway, so I read the Satanic Bible, and I kind of knew it wasn't just devil worship. I knew it was because I'd heard about it before, and I read it all the way through, and I was like, that's me already. That's just my lifestyle. I've always been very self-indulgent, kind of selfish, and very kind of egocentric. I've never had any insecurity issues. I've always been really confident and really and that's what Satanism pretty much was about. It's just treat yourself like a god, oppose religions, just indulge in things that are fun, because as far as we know it, this is it. After this, we're dead, so I might as well live it up,
Exactly.
So yeah, that's how I got into it, and then I just started researching it more and more, and then started just kind of talking about it, I'd see all these issues that people would have that I'm just and a lot of it isn't even the satanic. I mean, I'd probably get the view of it from Satanism, but people have these issues that I just see as so avoidable and so their own causing.
Yeah.
I'll see stuff like, I'm just so nice to people, and then they turn their back on me. It's then stop being so fucking nice to people, man. What the hell, Or they'll be like, I just have so many fake friends and shit like that. I'm just then do you just suck at making friends?
Right.
I've never had a fake friend. I don't know what. I just don't get it, and also all these religious issues, like church trying to get in on the marijuana thing.
Oh yeah.
Them trying to get in on they're trying to do that thing where they were doing it until recently, where they'd have interviews with like a kid, just them in the room. And if I had a kid, I wouldn't trust them anywhere near those motherfuckers.
No way.
So, but yeah, stuff like that, and I just think that religion needs a good opposition.
Right.
You know, so that's pretty much why I do what I do.
Well, yeah, no, I don't remember when I found you on Facebook and added you or whatever, but I've been, following the Facebook page that you've had, and I just love all the shit that goes on in there.
Oh, for sure.
And I'm the same way, and I think Forrest is the same way too. Like, people, I don't know if it's just like the Facebook social media thing where they want to post like that they're so stressed and their life's so hard. In reality, it's not.
Exactly.
Or do they really have these like simple problems that are just melting their brain?
I've wondered that same thing, because I'm like, I see some of this stuff and I'm just like, why do you give a fuck?
Yeah.
Like, my life isn't perfect, but like, just some of the issues I see, people make it seem like it's just apocalyptic, and I'm just like, I had that happen yesterday.
Yeah.
Think about it,
Yeah.
It sucks, but
It sucks, yeah, and that is the
It
question.
didn't ruin my life.
Exactly, yeah, that brings up the question, like, is everyone this, like, down and depressed about everything in this generation, or do people just like and I know a lot of people are actually, like, depressed and whatnot,
for sure.
but
Yeah.
I think that, or is it a lot of people just like to get the attention and
I think it's more so
the reassurance? I think so too.
I think it's the attention. I think it's a mix too of we're the first generation where life is pretty goddamn easy. Like as far as how the world, like how human history's been, like we don't have to worry about going and getting food and surviving.
Yeah.
We don't have to worry about these things. So now people have just become so content, and it's kind of easy that
little things.
It's a lot
Little
easier.
things.
First world problems.
Yeah, exactly.
Big first world problems. Like I saw some person, they said that they dropped their phone and they don't know what they're gonna do with their life because they don't have their phone anymore for like a week, and I was like, it's a fucking phone.
It can be frustrating, but
your life's not gonna end.
Yeah, exactly.
I think too, it's kind of worried. Like, is it one of the comedians? Is it who talks about the thoughts and prayers thing?
Oh, Anthony Jeselnik.
Yeah, Anthony Jeselnik.
Oh,
where,
yeah.
Anytime like a big thing happens, everyone's typing thoughts and prayers, but I don't think they actually mean it. They just kind of like saying, "Don't forget about me."
It's a morality thing.
Yeah.
It's a oh look, I'm being moral.
Yeah.
And like I've been on rants about that. I think I think it was the Vegas shooting. All the thoughts, and I'm like, dude, if you want to do something, actually fucking do something.
Go
I'm
down
not saying
there.
you don't have to prove anything.
Right.
You're not required to go act all high and mighty. Either just don't do anything, or just like donate, do something. You know what I mean? Don't just be like, oh, thoughts and prayers, because
I can
it's
tell you
not
how
like
many
they're
times
actually
that's
going to
helped.
sit there and pray and think about it.
Right.
It just doesn't do anything. It's like it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't know.
Thoughts and prayers. So just go home and talk to yourself.
Your Facebook post isn't doing shit. You'll think so. Get Bitsko views.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's why I make so many like posts and stuff. I feel like just so many problems are just so like, and I know I'm a little bit like empathetically challenged. I can't really empathize. I just don't really care most of the time.
Yeah.
But like with a lot of people, they're just like, oh, I'm too nice to people. I help people too much. It's like, you don't have to not care about people, but just focus more of that energy on yourself,
right?
Than just on everyone else.
If anyone ever says the statement, "I help too many people," that's because they're doing it for the wrong reasons.
Exactly.
Because like there's countless times where people get help and you never hear about the person who helped them because they don't care. They were like doing help because they felt like it was the right thing to do.
Exactly. Yeah.
So if you go donate or you go give charity work and the first thing you do is like post on social media.
I just did charity work.
It's like cool, dude. What, are you trying to flaunt that you're a better person?
Exactly.
Charity work's supposed to be you did something charitable, so it shouldn't matter.
It shouldn't be a competition of who's the most moral. It's ridiculous, but like I'll help. If there's people like close to me, if they need something, I'll help them.
Yeah,
but,
for sure.
I'm not just gonna just advertise it, and I'm not gonna just. I definitely focus more on myself than other people. I think that's how everyone should be.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, everyone needs help at some point with something.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But like, it shouldn't be everyone helping each other. It should be everyone helping themselves. And if they need help from other people, then that can happen.
Right,
they'll
for
have
sure.
more energy to do that.
Well, definitely. Like if everyone starts helping themselves, that means more people are going to be well off. And once those people become more well off, I think that's when they can give helping hands.
For sure.
But so many people want to sit there and wait for a helping hand is the problem.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly, and it's just like, I think that if you can't help yourself, you can't probably even help other people.
Oh,
You know
definitely
what I
not.
mean? Yeah. It's like I see these people who are just so insecure and just jealous, you know, when they have a girlfriend or boyfriend, they're just, you know, fucking don't, you know, like, you look at that girl, like, you know, stuff like that. It's like, if you're that insecure and that, like, you shouldn't be in a relationship.
Absolutely not.
It's gonna make you both miserable.
Right, it's gonna just cause more problems than good.
That's for sure. Yeah, definitely.
What's your take on wealth? I'm kind of curious, like money,
Wealth?
having like being rich.
That's the goal, man.
Yeah?
Again, I'm like, you know, I definitely think that there is a wealth privilege. I think it's kind of really the only privilege I really see prevalent. But like, I think that, I mean, I think money is, you know, you know, they're always like, oh, it's a man-made construct. It is, but it's a necessary man-made construct. And this point, you can't just not have. I think it's a good like placement holder for like a goal. You know, like I'm trying to make this much, and then you can just better your life with more things you want, live the lifestyle you want. Yeah, I'm all for it. You know, like I think greed is important. I think it's just wanting more than you have. I think you should. I think that can help you fulfill goals if you're, you know, if you want more than you already have, you know?
Yeah. So I've talked to a lot of people about wealth, and, you know, there's always like people always have weird opinions. And there's not many people who say what you say, but that's what everyone, I think, thinks.
And they just don't say it.
They don't want to be the person who says it.
Exactly.
Like, I'm the same person. Like, I'm not a materialistic person, but yeah, I want my money.
Yeah,
you know?
Sure. I'll fully admit I'm extremely materialistic. Like, I think my favorite thing ever is my PC. Like, it's just, you know, it's just like, but it's, I mean, not just materials though, you know, traveling.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know, stuff like that. I think it's good. I think wealth's extremely important. You know, and whether people want to admit that they approve of the idea of wealth one way or another, I think they do.
Yeah, definitely.
If they got the chance to instantly be a millionaire, they'd be like, you know,
I don't know anyone that would say no.
No. I know people who will say no in front of you, but then if given the offer, they would say yes.
Send the guy an email and be like, give it to me. You know?
I was pretending. I definitely want the $1 million.
Exactly, for sure.
You say your PC. Do you do gaming then?
I do.
That's awesome.
I've got a pretty solid setup for sure.
Nice. Yeah.
That was an impulse buy. I tend to take certain substances and then buy stuff.
Yeah.
That's most of my stories. But anyway, so yeah, I went in one day and I was like, it's a custom PC place, and I was like, give me the nicest thing you have. Just make me the most expensive thing possible. And they're like, you know, they're trying to like sell you stuff.
Right.
And they're just like, sure, all right.
This guy's in.
I'm like, do you want this? I'm like, everything. Just the most expensive thing possible. Just give it to me. I don't want to upgrade for a long ass time.
I bet that can run everything though.
Oh, it can.
With ease.
It can. Yeah, for sure. I haven't had anything, you know, not work on it. It's got 4K and can do VR and all that. It's a good time.
What do you like to play mostly lately?
Lately, oh man, all day today and yesterday I've just been going hard on Civ 6. I'll go in like spurts with games, you know. I'll go like good little while on certain game and then, you know, switch to the next one. And right now it's been Civ, just going hard for like pretty much 18 hours straight. You know? And I'm playing a little bit of GTA too. I modded it, so I've been, you know, giving my friends money and shit. Before I get banned. It's inevitable. It's gonna happen. But you know, I'll play PUBG. Not too big on Fortnite. No. Not my forte.
I just hate the fucking building.
That's what I hate too, man. Yeah, it's like, you know, I want to do a one-on-one fight. I don't want them to, you know, be a pussy and build up in their fucking little thing. And yeah, definitely.
I've tried really hard to like Fortnite.
Same.
And I just can't get into it.
I'll see some videos on it, like, oh, give it a try. I give it a try, and I'm just like, I'd rather be playing something else. It's just, yeah, for sure.
I'll see people playing, and they look like they're having just the funnest time ever. I'm like, maybe I'm just doing something wrong.
Same, yeah.
I'll go back like in and
walking around, and then I get sniped or like shotgun, and I'm just like, fuck, man.
I like Civ though too. I haven't played 6. I played a lot of 5, but
oh yeah, 5 was great.
Yeah.
5 was great. Yeah, Civ is a good time. I waste way too much time on that game.
It's the only game that I can think of where you can literally play like a 12-hour match, and it can be different every single time you play.
Oh, easily. I mean, I remember the first time I ever played it. I got it. At first, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I was like, this is just so complicated. But then after I like watched some videos and figured it out, I played that shit from like 8 at night to like 12 like noon.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, oh fuck, what time is it?
For real. Yeah.
It's the worst when you start like you're just really into the game and you like look out your window and the sun just hits your eyes and like,
Oh
fuck.
man,
Not again.
feel that. I've got the worst sleeping issues, like unbelievable. Like I've been going to bed at like 10, like in the morning.
Yeah.
And wake up at like 7, and I'm
Same.
just like, this fucking sucks, man. The whole day is gone, like full blown nocturnal, pretty much.
I know.
It just sucks, but
Yeah, I'm the same way. I always like people like will call me or text me throughout the day because I'll wake up at like 4 or 5 p.m. and they're like, "What have you been doing?" I was sleeping.
Sleeping.
Same, man. Yeah, my girlfriend will text me. She's like, "Are you mad at me?" I'm like, "No, I just woke
I
up,
was
man."
in bed.
Yeah, for real. And I'm trying to avoid just taking something to pass out because that's like my natural like.
Yeah.
Yeah, but.
Yeah, that's the worst too. Because like, for a while I was using NyQuil every night.
Oh yeah.
NyQuil fucking sucks.
Yeah, it does.
I don't care what anyone says. I know people who love NyQuil.
I drank a
but
bottle of that one time.
Yeah.
Shit fucks you up, man. It's not. It makes me feel weird and just kind of out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My problem with like a lot of this, like taking stuff to sleep is like, I sleep like I feel like I slept good, but I'm fucking tired for like a day afterwards.
Groggy. Yeah.
I was like, God damn it.
Yeah.
Now I gotta take something else to make me awake.
I know. That's the cycle, man. That's the cycle. Yeah. Yeah. It's. I think I told you I was on that stuff called Phenibut.
yeah.
Yeah, which is totally legal, and like, apparently they use it. They give it to like in Russia. They give it to their astronauts to like keep them like, focused and alert and like less anxious. And so you can just order it online. It's really cheap. So I was ordering that, and they said it's extremely physically dependent. So 2 days a week, like max, that you can take it.
Yeah.
So my dumbass, I was I was good with that for about 6 months. I'd use it if I wanted to like, go out and do stuff, made me really sociable and talkative, and just like want to move, like do stuff, but not like jittery. It was great. So, it's good at the twice a week thing, and never 2 days in a row.
Yeah.
That's the thing. So, a month or so ago, my ass goes 14 days in a row, and your tolerance builds so fast. Like, the recommended dose is like 500 milligrams, right? By the end of it, I was like 4 grams.
Oh shit.
And and then I ran out, and I was like, I didn't really think about the withdrawals from it. I was just like, I might be a little anxious, a little jittery,
Right.
Some restless. No, that was hell. Like, when the first night without it, or the next night, it takes about 24 hours for it to.
Yeah.
And I started the feeling like your body is gonna implode. Like just like so shaky.
Oh god.
There's a symptom they call primal fear, which is you basically feel like.
Yeah, thanks for this up.
Hey, what up? You basically feel like there's a shotgun pointed at your head.
Oh,
just like
no.
terrified. And so luckily I went to a doctor and he gave me gabapentin to like help with that, and it worked wonderfully. Yeah, that was probably the worst 2 days of my life.
Oof.
Never again. Now even thinking of that stuff, I'm like, nope, no way.
Yeah. Stimulants are cool, but like, I don't know. I was playing. What was I playing? I was me and Salty. That's in our chat. We were playing a game the other day, and like I was just like so like up that I was just like all anxious. Like, I think what were we playing? I don't know. We were playing a game, and like a shot went off, and I was like, "Fuck."
Yeah, that's about how I was, man. Like my roommate would come home, and I'd just be,
shit, dude.
Yeah, for real.
Slow.
Yeah,
Slow movements. Can we talk about astrology?
I'd love to.
I've tried to find people who truly believe in it to bring on so I can roast them, and we haven't found anybody.
Really, man, I see that shit. I don't think people even believe in it.
I don't think they do either. Cause
yeah, I think, I think it's just complete and utter obvious bullshit. Like,
right.
It's. And like I see this everywhere, I'll see girls be like, I won't date you if you're this. I'm like, that is so fucking stupid. Like that is the dumbest logic, and like, it's been proven wrong by so many scientists, philosophers, astronomers. Like they're just like, it's not fucking real.
Literally everyone with an education.
Yeah, literally, and it's just crazy the amount of I see that stuff, and it's just. So yeah, I don't think there's any merit or value. I'll read through them and be like, oh, doesn't apply to me.
Right.
Now, because I've been trying to connect it in my brain, because I'm the same exact way. Like I don't think there's no proof, there's no rhyme or reason for anything. Do you think it gives comfort to people like religion gives comfort to people in a small way? I think it does. I
think it connects them to something greater than us.
Yeah.
In a way, and I think it also creates a group of people with the same star, they kind of have they're like, oh, you know what I'm talking about.
Right.
You have this happen too. You're also a fucking Virgo or whatever.
I don't think so yourself.
And
thank you, satelliting.
I definitely agree with that. I think that it definitely gives people a sense of security,
like comfort, that mob mentality.
Yeah, exactly. But it's just, I think it can be just as bad as a religion. I mean, not like detrimental
violence,
to but I think it's just as dumb, and that's the thing that because people can believe whatever they want, but like they'll be like, oh, religion's so stupid, how would you think of a imaginary guy in the sky, but fucking if you're born on this day,
yeah, it's like what
you're gonna be two-faced,
right. You're gonna have 3 months out of the year where you're an asshole, but the rest of the year they're cool.
And I actually saw a video. You guys know who Richard Dawkins is?
Yeah.
Yeah, the famous atheist biology professor, and he did a study on that. And he went out in the street and got a bunch of random people, 12 different people, and he read them all Capricorn's horoscope, and he's like, does this apply to you? And all of them were like, it's the generic stuff like, you're strong, you're having some hard times in your life, and shit like that everyone can relate to.
Yeah.
So they'll just be like, and they were like, oh yeah, definitely. And the one person who was a Capricorn said, that doesn't apply to me. And I was like, fuck. It's such obvious bullshit, it cracks me up. People take that so seriously, and I'm just like, yeah, bro. Like
I'm sure you've had those arguments with people who are so into it that you're saying like, okay, my favorite one is to be like, okay, well, guess my sign. Because that gets so many people lost. They're like, oh, well, I bet you're a insert whatever. I'm like, oh no, I'm not. Try again. And they're like, well, okay, well, I guess since you're lying about that, you're something else. I'm like, no, I'm not. Try again. And like they'll never get it because it's irrelevant what sign I am, anyways. But
it doesn't matter at all. And I think if people would take it to the extreme, it's just another form of discrimination.
Yeah.
In a dumber way, like being like saying something like, oh, you're on that, don't talk to me. If you're Leo, don't talk to me.
Right.
But imagine if they said that about like a race. It would be like
huge.
On the fucking news. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the month they're born, like,
no, they can say whatever they want.
I know, right? Yeah, I can't trust a Gemini or whatever.
My favorite though is like, I've seen people talk about it, like you said, where they say they won't even hang out with people who are a certain sign. I'm sitting there like,
what?
So you're chalking up like millions of people that you would never talk to because they were born on a certain month.
It's just ridiculous. And like, so when I was dating this girl for about 4 years, right? And then we broke up, and I was like, I'm gonna go be a whore. So, I can tend to be very promiscuous and a whore. So I met this one girl, and I was on like some website or Facebook, something, and she was like, oh, I don't talk to Scorpios. And I'm a Scorpio. So I was like, okay. So I was like, all right, what's your sign? And she said something. I think it was Libra, and I was like, so I looked up like compatible signs with Libra, matched up one, and then I was like, oh, I'm this. She's like, oh, that's great. We hung out like a couple times, and the whole time she just talked about that. And so like the last time I was like, yeah, I'm a Scorpio.
By the way,
gotcha.
You were right about that. Yeah. She's like, yeah, she freaked out.
She's gonna start IDing people now.
Right.
Just
for real, yeah. Let me see your ID. Make sure what month you're born.
I also went through a definite whore phasing, and
oh man,
I think everyone does, especially after breakups, right?
Oh yeah,
it's the best time. When Tinder was first starting out or whatever, I was on there for a little while. One of the I don't make bios really. I just kind of put whatever. I put, if you ask me about my sign, don't waste your time or whatever. I would have people match with me. I put that on mine too. Yeah, I'd have people match with me just to like talk shit, like hardcore shit.
I fucking wish they do. Yeah, man, fuck.
I'd be like, oh, like, well, what's wrong with knowing what your sign is? And I'm like, nothing. But
that's crazy. It's like when I have a missionary knock on my door. It's just like
you get ready, right?
Yeah, and Mormon missionaries tend to really like me for some reason. Jehovah's Witnesses are pricks. But Mormon missionaries, they tend to really like. I've had them come over like a repeat time, even though they know there's no way in holy hell I would ever convert. You know, but I like to ask them questions I know they don't know the answer to. Right. Like, so you're okay with marrying 14-year-olds, right? Like, what? No, I'm like, Joseph Smith. His teaching.
He was down.
And he also coveted people's wives, which is in the Ten Commandments, and his own doctrine.
Yeah.
Or I'll be like, so how did Joseph Smith translate the Book of Mormon? He's like, oh, he got it from got it from Angel Moroni. I got these seer stones. Like, what language did he translate that from? Like, Reformed Egyptian. I'm like, never existed. He is the only person in history of ever to use that term. Reformed Egyptian never existed. So.
No, it's not a real.
Yeah. He's probably like trying to think of something. He's like, no one's ever gonna ask what that is.
Right.
Oh, for real. Yeah. I'll ask all kinds of questions. Or like bringing up the thing with the sign of Cain.
Yeah.
Right, and that the racial thing, and that gets them going because they don't know how to handle because they don't want to seem like racist. But I don't think it's their fault. I think that they're just not taught that.
Right. Yeah. I feel like a lot of them, like, it's weird, but I feel like a lot of the missionaries are just religious people in general, haven't read any of the completely through at least.
That's the first thing I ask. I said, have you read the Bible? And if they say yes, kind of quiz them on it a little bit.
Right.
No, you haven't.
And then if I can tell they have, I'm like, much respect. Gotta read. That's a huge problem. Is religious people don't even read their own holy books.
Especially they're like the most religious too. The ones that would like judge you, right? Like,
oh yeah.
Have you read it? Like, just a little bit.
They read John 3, John 3:13. I think it's 3:13. God gave His only begotten Son. They'll read that line and be like, Jesus loves me.
Right.
Yeah.
It just blows my mind that, because even like a lot of people who are religious who have read everything they can read, it's still a picking and choosing game for them.
They just I don't really like that part in Leviticus where Locke's daughter gets raped by the whole village and God's okay with it. Right. But I do like this part. About how God forgives.
Right, God forgives everybody.
Unless you eat an apple, then you have to kill your only son. Your 30-year-old son, late-term abortion. But
it's always the late-term abortion that gets you.
yeah, for real. I don't know why He couldn't have just forgiven us for Adam eating an apple.
Right.
It doesn't seem very forgiving.
It seems like that would have really cleared things up pretty quick if you would just been like forgiveness. But
exactly. Yeah. But I have had Jehovah's Witnesses come over too. I'm actually blacklisted from any Jehovah's Witness premise. Yeah. But I've had them come over, and the first time it was 7 a.m. and I just fell asleep, and they come over, and my roommate comes out, and he comes in my room, and he's like, dude, there's some Jehovah's Witnesses outside. I feel like you might want to. Yeah, and I'm like, because all my friends know, that's my thing. So I was like, bring him in. So I opened the door, and motherfucker just walks in, like no invitation. He's just like, oh, how's it going? Just walks in and sits down. I'm like,
damn, what are you, a salesman? Get out of
here. At home, like, but so I argued with them for a while, and they ran out in anger.
Right.
And then another time, I scheduled it so Jehovah's Witness and a Mormon missionary would come over at the same time, and then I just ask them both questions that like contradict each other's religion, and I just watch them sit there, and that was a good one. And then the last time the Jehovah's Witnesses came over, I don't know why they kept coming over, but they came over and they were just fascinated by Satanism the whole time. Like, whole time they were just like,
he's just about to leave.
Learn about it. Yeah, and they were just asking all these questions. They're like, so you just like party it up all the time? Just like, Pretty much.
He's
yeah,
like, so you're happy.
yeah.
Because I'm pretty fucking depressed. It's 100 degrees outside. I'm wearing a suit walking around.
You can celebrate holidays and do blood transfusions. Wow.
What's the one that gets roasted a lot online right now? The New World Christians, where they think the Earth is only 10,000 years old or whatever.
Oh my god!
I know there's like a specific term for them.
Oh, I don't know if I've heard about that.
Oh, it's crazy.
That is insane.
I saw some of my YouTube video of like them, like some guy interviewing a couple who's this new. It's some weird word, but they believe the Earth is like 10,000 years old, and you just listen to them talk, and you're like, this is hurting. Like this hurts my head. This hurts my body to listen to.
I'll hear religious people say some stuff, and I'm just like, oh god.
Oh yeah.
Why though? Like
DJ's got it. Young Earthers.
Young Earthers.
That's what Young Earther Christians, I believe. And they're also the type that doesn't believe in practical medicine. So if their kid gets fucked up, they put him in the bedroom and say, Jesus got this one. He's looking out for us. He's going to cure him. That cancer's going away.
God gave him that disease in the first place. You know?
How dare you?
I know. But,
how dare you?
You know, it's a test
right?
Of their parents' faith, right? Which is a fucked up test.
Test of the parents' faith.
But, like, I think if, you know, I made posts about the same with, like, anti-vaccines, but I think with this stuff even more so, if a child... And I have very extremist views and stuff like this, but I think if a child gets a disease and the parents don't cure it and the child dies, they should easily be charged with some kind of murder, manslaughter at least.
Definitely.
Or they should give the parents the disease.
Right. Here, let's see if Jesus will cure it this time.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, let's see if your boy Jesus is on your side now.
You know? Yeah.
I'm all for eye for an eye. You know,
right.
like
Jesus wanted me to do this to you.
Letting an innocent kid die. Fucking man.
They're fucking crazies. Like they're one of them. The lady, she made a huge long video. It was going around Facebook for a while, but she was talking about how dinosaur bones are just made up. They're actually like rocks that they had carved out and put in order. Or no, she said they were actual bones. She's like, yeah, they're bones, but they just put them in the shape of dinosaurs. I was like,
was she Christian?
Yeah.
That like surprised me.
Yeah.
So he says the Force has stuff that can fix you up people don't know about. You might be right, but we're talking about, let's say your kid is born with insert disease that can easily be curable by modern medicine, but they choose not to do it.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
But not cancer. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. There's definitely medicine. But, you know, if your kid comes out and he has, I can't think of something off the top of my head that would kill a kid quickly.
I don't know. The flu can.
The flu, I don't know, something like that. He has an extreme version of the flu. He has the plague.
Yeah.
And the parents, instead of taking him to the doctor and getting it cured for like $35 like normal adults do, they decide let Jesus figure it out.
Oh,
and then the baby dies.
There's few things that get me going like that type of shit, man. That's just, I don't know.
It's just sad. Oh, Big Papa, good night. Yeah. Always coming in to say good night. Appreciate that.
But, you regular?
Yeah, he comes in and all he says is good night. So.
He just watches for a while and alright, good night.
Shrooms are my cure all. Shrooms are definitely good for you.
The shrooms are good for you. I can't do them. My schizophrenic ass, no way. Probably better than LSD, but I mean I've done them, of course. LSD and everything. But yeah, now if I haven't done any psychedelics since I've been diagnosed, but like I don't want to be like Sid Barrett from Pink Floyd, you know, go off the deep end, you know, fucking. But shrooms are good for a lot of things, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely if you're smart with them. I think a lot of people aren't too smart with them though.
Yeah, I've only actually done them once, and I didn't really feel anything. It was weird, really underwhelming.
Yeah.
I just like I was kind of moving a little bit, and I'm just like I was just chilling, like I didn't really feel that. Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of underwhelming.
Yeah, same thing happened to me the one time. Yeah.
I had the opposite thing. I took too many, so it was not.
My man.
Well, it was one of those things where I did it once and I did an eighth, and I was like, that was cool. I really liked that, but I didn't gain what I wanted from it. So then I stepped up to a quarter. Yeah. Allegedly, everyone, it's the internet. Don't believe me. And that was a wee bit too much for me to jump into my second attempt. And Fuck my world.
Oh, I fucking bet, man.
Yeah.
Like, I want to try DMT
I do too.
and peyote
I want like
Yeah, peyote would be
and
cool too.
ketamine. That's the big one. I've wanted to for so long.
See, I've never even met anyone who's done ketamine.
I met a couple people.
Oh, maybe I have. Never mind. Just
You've
kidding.
done it?
I might know a couple people who've done ketamine.
You've done it?
Everyone like I used to just go to parties all the time. People are like snort this. And I'm like, what is that? Okay.
Yeah, right. Man, I hear about that stuff happening. I'm like, bring it forth, man. Like,
Right.
do I need to give myself depression to go to the ketamine treatment? Like, which I think is cool that they're doing that.
Yeah.
I think it's I mean, they say it works, so
No.
I'm not depressed, but it's
No,
cool.
I was
Still worth
drinking
trying.
when I allegedly tried it, but all it really like felt like I didn't do a lot. So like all it really felt like to me was just like almost like the relaxed feeling of being drunk, but like clear mind almost. It was weird.
That is weird.
Mm.
Kind of like a benzo or something. Like it's
Yeah,
nice.
it was like not too much. Like I was like I feel really good. Like it was kind of like the best way I can explain. It's like kind of like I was drunk, but I knew I wasn't. But, I don't know.
Okay. That's weird. Yeah.
So if you've allegedly ever done coke and
Huh.
drank at the same time, is it the same type of feeling where you're? Because when you do coke, don't you become a little bit more like you become less drunk?
yeah,
Yeah.
if one was to do that,
If one was to do that, of course,
If
yeah.
one was to do that, it does
Sober
make it
you up a
better.
little bit.
It sober you up a little bit. Yeah.
So is it the same type of thing like that, or completely different?
It's not a stimulant, no.
Oh, okay. So it's
No,
a whole.
it's a dissociative.
Mm.
Yeah, that's my other subject that I'm pretty good at. Just drugs. Like, I
Yeah.
just know all the receptors, all the names, all the. I don't know why. I just like research
It's-
that shit.
I think it's cool to
My
know that type of
girlfriend's like,
shit.
you should be a pharmacist, and I'm like, fuck school.
True. Yeah, school
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, we have a friend that just knows everything about drugs too. Just
Yeah.
like chemical names. Like, how do you?
Yeah. How do you know that? I'm glad you do. But...
Lots of time on Arrowhead, yeah.
No.
Mhm.
Research.
West Kai says, "Me and West should kiss. Bring your ass over here, boy. I'll kiss you right on your mouth."
Fortnite lover 159 blue people.
Blue people.
What about blue people?
All right, all right. I'm gonna go. Have a good rest of your night. All right.
Yeah,
well,
thanks for
dropping
stopping. Yeah. Got my contacts all fucked up
So
tonight.
what platforms are you guys on?
in. Everything now.
Hell yeah.
We live stream off Twitch, and then we put it on YouTube. We just barely got on Spotify, iTunes, Patreon, Podbean,
Yeah, like other random podcast websites have just put us on there themselves.
That's cool.
a couple
So
apps.
that's convenient.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we don't have to do any work. You're just gonna do it for us. Thanks.
The best one was that guy who was emailing us. He
Yeah.
kept emailing us like, "Hey, you guys should sign up for like it was super cheap." But he's like, "We'll put you all your podcasts on our platform, or whatever." And we never responded. And then finally, he was like, "Hey, I just put all your podcast stuff anyways. If that's cool." And we're like, "All right,
That's what's up, man.
whatever.
That's shit. You're like, fine by me.
Yeah.
Fucking knock yourself out,
Yeah,
son.
go for it."
Share them. Why don't you share them while you're at it, dude?
Right.
Come on.
I think it'd be funny if we didn't know we were on some website and we go there and like they're super popular.
He's just taking like ad revenue from
Yeah.
us and
Oh,
stuff.
man.
Fuck.
That would be a trip. That would be a trip for sure. So you guys like listen to podcasts besides this podcast?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's cool.
a lot less now that we're doing it, but prior to that, that's kind of all I listened to.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
try not to listen to him, not too much now, just because like I would start saying things I would hear on other podcasts. And I was like, I don't want to like seem like I'm just stealing.
Yeah, okay,
ideas from
that,
them.
Right.
that makes
Yeah.
sense. I have this one podcast I always listen to, and it's just all these crazy drug stories. And there were these two like addicts who were like recovered, and then one of them relapsed and then just dies. Like,
Oh,
one of the two,
fuck.
and I was like, yeah, it was like heroin, coke, and fentanyl. And I'm
Oh god.
like, fuck, I was like,
I'll do it.
Yeah, it'll definitely do it. Yeah, but
It's sad that fentanyl is a thing now.
and like I don't know, a lot of people don't agree with me on this, but I think if heroin was legal, fentanyl problem wouldn't exist.
Definitely not.
And I'm not advocating drug use, but I think that if all drugs were regulated and taxed, not only would it be good for the economy,
Right.
and yeah, of course, at first a lot of people might, be like, oh, I can go buy crack at the store,
Yeah.
and they might, there might be a lot of more usage at first, but I think it would decrease usage and definitely decrease overdoses.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, if you bought it from like a government facility and it was pure, it wouldn't be. You knew it wouldn't be cut with fentanyl or any
Right.
of that shit.
Yeah. Because then you're like, getting non-sketchy drugs. Like
Yeah.
the pharmacist was handling just your, regular drugs.
Right.
Yeah.
Like coke, your heroin, whatever. You're
Exactly.
like, at least I know I'm getting good shit. Thanks,
And
dude.
fentanyl's in everything. We
Yeah.
found it in marijuana, like weed. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's fucking insane.
So you think that if it all became legal, we would see that big spike at the start of people just going and trying shit, but
I
it'd
think
probably
at
taper
first,
off?
I think at first, I mean, I don't know for sure, but I do think at first there might be a spike of like, holy shit, I can go buy coke from the store, like that newfound freedom. you know?
Right.
So I could definitely see a spike at first, but I definitely think it would decrease. Other countries have done that.
Mm-hmm.
At the minimum, decriminalize. I don't
Right,
think
definitely
putting
decriminalize everything.
drug users away is the right option. Because the more strict we have gotten on drugs, the worse the epidemics have become.
Absolutely.
Now we're in the opiate epidemic, and I think we're gonna be in a benzo epidemic too. All the Xanax.
Oh yeah, big time.
And we just keep getting stricter, and it just keeps getting worse. So it's clearly not working. But
What do you think is increasing the usage though? Like, do you think it's just these newer drugs are becoming more available for people, or do you think it's like it's popular in music? So...
I think it's more. I mean, with like Xanax especially, it's so popular right now. And like, it's not like I think part of it is because so many people are so anxious.
Right.
And Xanax really does just cut that shit. Makes you just not give a fuck. So I think that's part of it, and then the prevalence of it in music and stuff like that.
Right.
I think that definitely brings it forth.
Yeah.
I don't really get it, the thing with Xanax, because if one was to have done it, it's not really recreational. You kind of just sit there and don't give a fuck, and then black out. It's just, and it's so dangerous too, because it's hard to actually die on it, like overdose wise. It takes an ungodly amount.
Right.
But you can black out for have blacked out for a long ass time, and the other thing is the withdrawals from it can kill you.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the only ones, Xanax or benzos and alcohol. Like if you
Yeah.
just cut that shit cold turkey, it just kill you.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy.
Well, and I've never personally done it, but I've been around people who've done it,
Mm-hmm.
and they're, like in the same room, and it just doesn't even look
It's not
entertaining. Like
it's,
what you said, I saw one kid, he took 3 or 2.5, I don't know, it was a lot, and like he just kind of like sat in his chair, and then he kind of like every once in a while would like look around, and then he just fell asleep, and I was like, did he die or is he just sleeping? Like the party just started. It's like 10 o'clock.
I have many stories on that, but I think I should share one in particular. So this is about not that long ago, maybe like 6 months ago, something like that. I was on a bunch of those, and it's never really impaired my like walking or driving or anything like that. I've always just kind of just been like, just not really give a fuck.
Yeah.
So I was driving around. Bad idea. It's kind of self-incriminating, whatever. Horrible idea. Don't anyone do that. And then also I have a picture with this one. So I was doing DoorDash, which is what I do.
Mm-hmm.
So I was doing DoorDash and I was pulling into this place, and you don't realize how fucked up you are on it. You think you're fine,
right?
But you're just learning your words, stumbling around, And so I was on a lot too, and so I was pulling into this place, and this guy, like this little strip mall, and this is downtown on State Street. This guy was pulling out, and I pull in, and like I hear a ksh, and I turned a little bit too far to the right, and I heard a ksh, and then my car just stops, and I'm like, what the hell? So I'm like, and my car like won't move. So I get out, and my car is like levitating on a rock. It's just
shit.
like, and let's see, I have the picture of this shit. It's insane, dude. Like, okay, look at that.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and like, so I had, and like, so this guy pulled in, and he looks at it for a second. He comes, and I was so out of it. I just went and sat on the grass and just sat there. Just like I just didn't even care. So this guy comes up to me and he's like, "Is that your car?" I'm like, "Yeah." And he's just like, "Is it stuck?" I'm like, "Yeah,
definitely,
clearly." And so then this old lady, he's just like, "I don't know what to tell you, man. Good luck with that one." So this old lady comes over, sweet little old lady, and she's like, do you want me to call a tow truck for you? And I'm like, okay, you know, thank you. So she calls it, and then the tow truck driver comes over. He's like, how the hell did you do that? You know, me, I was probably like, I was just pulling in. You know, and both of them were just looking at me like, what the fuck is this dude on? And luckily I got it off, and I didn't have to pay anything. The old lady just hooked it up.
Oh, that's
Thank God.
nice.
Damn.
That shows how dangerous that shit is.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
The part that she at least she
And the funny thing is like, and there's one situation I wasn't about to argue with her because we were sitting there and while we were waiting for the tow truck, we were sitting there for like an hour before the tow truck got there. I'm just barred out of my mind, just like, she's all talking to me, and I'm just like, oh. And then she's like, Jesus sent me here for you today. I'm like,
oh, thank you, Jesus.
And normally I would have been like, yeah, prove it.
Right.
But this time I was like, oh, thank you.
Praise the Lord.
I wasn't able to be like, I'm a Satanist, because then she'd like cancel the tow truck.
Right.
Enjoy your stuck car. But
what kind of stereotypes do you get then? Because I imagine there's a lot of stereotypes around it.
There is. So I'm in a cult, and I'll joke about that. But
you should like, wait, you're not?
Yeah, I was like, you're missing out, Let me teach you. I'm in a cult. I'm a metalhead. I'm a stoner, and I'm an actual like devil worshiper. That's the most common one for sure. And then also I sacrifice things, which is all of those. I mean the I'm in a cult. There's no cult.
Yeah.
Like I'll teach a few people some stuff, and like I have some groups that I like teach it to.
Right.
But it's not. There's no hierarchy. There's no. There's no like membership fee and like penalty if you leave like a cult.
It's more people who are also interested.
Yeah.
Just kind of showing them like
showing them the way. Yeah. And then I'm a metalhead. I'm really not. There's some metal I like, but
yeah.
And I get why they think that. You're Satan's probably like the Slayer.
Marilyn Manson.
Yeah, Marilyn. Yeah, and I like some metal, but I like the complete opposite. I like really slow, like dream pop, like ambient, stuff like that. I like all kinds, but that's my main for sure. And then the stoner, I think, is just the long hair.
Yeah.
I despise it. Like I used to when I was a teenager. I used high school and stuff, and then now, like I take one like hit, and I'm like. I've boarded myself in the bathroom before and just sit there in the corner. Like I'll hear sirens and screaming. I'll hear gunshots. I've heard the police bang at the door. I've like looked out the peephole and seen police that aren't there. And I get really sick and like twitchy and I had a seizure one time.
I hate it too. I passed out one time. I've
done that too. Yeah, that's a horrible feeling too. Yeah. I feel like your soul's just leaving your body. See this fading away. This is it, boys.
Right. Now's the time.
Good night.
One thing me and Forrest talked about, because me and him are both on the same page. Like, it's dumb that it's not legal already. Like,
especially weed.
Especially weed, but there is that culture that thinks weed is like the cure-all best thing on the planet.
I've gone on rants with that too, man.
And it definitely isn't. Like it has a lot of pros, but it's not this, the greatest thing that's ever been created type of plant. Like it has a lot of benefits, don't get me wrong, but
yeah, it does. And like I can respect it for sure, but it's not a cure for all things.
No.
And it's the other part of the argument that's just idiotic is it's not a drug.
Oh yeah,
it's a goddamn drug. Like I'll admit I'll do drug. Like you just got to admit it. Like it's obviously not the same as heroin or meth, anything like that. But anything that alters your mind is a drug.
Yeah.
Caffeine, nicotine, ibuprofen, anything.
It's all drugs.
It's all drugs. Which is fine. Like it's the stigma of drugs that's just so bad. And then the thing you were saying is it's to cure all to, and I'll tell people like I'm schizophrenic as fuck. Like I smoke even a little bit and I see fucking demons.
Right, it amplifies
like not even an exaggeration. Like I'll hear gunshots and screaming, and they're like, "Oh, just try a different strain." I'm like,
it's like.
I smoked weed for like 3 years. I know how it works.
Yeah.
They'll think I'm like
doing
something
what I'm
talking
wrong.
about. I'm like, I know how. I know they're trying indica. It doesn't fucking matter, bro. It's same, But yeah, it can help a lot of things. It can treat a lot of things, but I think it being a cure all to everything. Oh, just smoke some weed, bro.
Yeah.
Fuck it,
Right.
you know, no, like, it's works for some people, doesn't work for others.
I also think the people who are on board with this cure-all thing are kind of a reason why it's not legal, is because it seems like, at least for our generation, a lot of people don't like to sit down and have conversations on why they think it's good and why it should be legal.
Mhm.
Instead, they just want to take all the things that they truly believe in and just shove it down people's throats.
Exactly.
Our government's
Yeah.
not ran by our generation.
No,
You got to
not
go,
at
like,
all.
they're all old people. You got to go slow. You got to be like, hey, listen, this is why I like it. Instead of just throwing this,
Yeah.
like, mass, like, textbook of
And-
shit at them.
And the thing I'm even more of an advocate for is Kratom. That's my.
Yeah.
You guys know what that is?
Yeah.
That's my shit. You know.
I don't know what that one is. I don't
So
think.
it grows in Southeast Asia, and it's it's natural. It's just a plant, still a drug, but so it's very. Some people say it's very mild. Some people say there's different views of it. There's also different strains, and it's legal right now. It's my pretty much all I do. I don't really drink too much. I just do that, and it it's not bad for your liver. Maybe like really heavy long term use.
Yeah.
Right.
And it affects the same receptors as an opioid, so it gives very similar effects. So that being said, it can get people off of opiates. It causes that like warmth, like that kind of like opioid feeling. But there's also strains that can be more energetic and more like kind of just like coffee.
Right.
It's actually a cousin to coffee in the plant family.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
But yeah, I advocate the hell out of that stuff. They're trying to Schedule 1 it, right? Like
Mhm.
trying to be like, it's same as heroin, which nowhere near. There's never been a death directly because of it. You can't
Right.
overdose. It can be
Yeah.
addictive, but nowhere near alcohol or any opioid, anything like that. But yeah, that's what I always advocate.
So is it a small stimulant or is it
It's
like
different.
I'd say it's so there's different colors of strains. There's white strain, green strain, and red strain. Red strain is very slow and very sedative. It feels much more like an opioid. And then the green strain and the white strains tend to be more up, like stimulating. Much more, it can make you more productive, make you want to do stuff like that. But yeah,
Interesting.
it's a weird mix of both. They say if you take a low dose, it's more stimulating. Take a high dose, it's more sedating. But
That's kind of interesting. There's
yeah, it's
not much like that in the world.
No, yeah. Then they sell it at like 7-Eleven downtown.
Yeah.
Right?
Some kid was like telling me about it for like 2 hours one day. He has a website he sells it on too.
Oh,
Really?
interesting.
Yeah, he knew everything. I was like this he was talking about the different colors and stuff, and he was telling me everything. He's like, yeah, check out my website, and I was like,
Oh
okay.
shit.
Yeah, it's a good time.
2018. I like that. Check out my website.
Yeah, for real.
So DJ said one time I did acid and got super paranoid and I got convinced that the cops were called and I finished a half ounce.
He flushed a half ounce.
Oh, he flushed a half ounce. My friends told me I was crazy until the cops actually came right then, but they were just there because somebody thought a guy was smoking a joint outside.
That's a me move right there, man.
Yeah,
I
it
feel
is.
you on that one. That's something I would totally do.
Damn, that
That's
sucks.
That's some shit, yeah.
Allegedly did acid. I like the.
Like
Ashley
Kai's
said
trying to
that.
roast me.
God damn it, Kai.
Oh, that's
Real smug fuck today.
Forrest is really pissing me off. in this
That's
shit.
my little brother. He's a real dick.
I was like, shit, bro, you got some haters.
He is.
Do you ever have any of those? Just like,
Yeah, big time.
I'd imagine.
A lot of just random trolls,
Oh,
but
that's everywhere on the
Yeah.
podcast. Yeah.
usually they come in and try and say I look like Chumlee or something like that. I'm like, fuck. You might be right.
Sometimes they're real clever though.
They are really
It's-
clever.
Sometimes
Trolling's-
it's funny. I'm like, oh, that you really put some thought into that troll, and I
Right.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's like, oh, LOL, you're fat, Wes, and then it's like, okay,
like, yeah.
yeah.
like put some fucking creativity behind that.
I'm
piece of
about that food.
Treat yourself, man.
Right. You were Chumlee, right? Yeah, the story. I forgot the story. I was Chumlee.
shit. Welcome to Pawn Stars.
Right.
I'm Rick
Is
Harris.
that show still on?
I have
Thanks.
no idea.
Probably.
Like, I heard that like the original people like don't even work there anymore.
Mm,
They
probably
just
not.
go there like for the show.
Probably.
I know the old man died.
Yeah.
Yeah, didn't one of them get like arrested or something?
Yeah, Chum Lee.
Oh, was
For
Trump?
fucking drugs and child porn or some shit.
Oh,
And I was like, I don't really want to be associated with that guy.
Damn.
Yeah,
But
man, that's crazy.
in the life of a celebrity, gotta. It gets
He was
crazy.
making they were like the main like 4 dudes were making a shit ton with each episode.
Yeah, just from that. Not
Yeah.
only whatever that pawn shop makes.
Which obviously they're making good money from the pawn shop too, because people are bringing fucking cars and
Yeah.
People
rare
bring in
stuff.
like 1,000-year-old artifacts.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
Well, I saw
It
something
should
that
be in a
it-
museum.
Yeah,
for real.
Shop, yeah.
I heard somewhere that like per episode they're making like 125,000 each
oh,
per episode, and there was like
could you
60
imagine
or 70 last
being the
time I
pawn
checked.
shop that they pick for that? Like, because
Oh,
there's
right.
tons of pawn shops in Vegas, but like, it's like
They
you
picked
guys
that
probably
one.
have some weird stuff. Would you mind us making a show about you? Like,
And then
Yeah,
Loza.
right. You wouldn't think that'd be something they make a show about.
Yeah.
and then they're like, fuck yeah, and then all of a sudden they're just making so much.
And it's
goddamn
not in the
money.
nice part of Vegas either. It was down by the
Yeah.
sex shop and the
Oh yeah. I think I drove past it one
yeah,
time.
and
Yeah.
the big tower thing or whatever that's called. I
Yeah,
can't remember. The
beautiful.
Stratosphere.
Oh, the Stratosphere. Yeah,
I think
okay.
it's right by there.
More on the old strip. Yeah.
Yeah. The old strip's not doing too good anymore.
Yeah, I don't think it has been for quite some time.
Yeah. Let's see. You should start a companion show to Topshelfers where you just roast Forrest, but with no context on your stream of what's going on. Not ever mention Forrest names so everyone is confused. No, Salty, what Kai should really do is make a podcast about his shoes and fashion stuff because he actually knows about it. I'm sure people would watch it. But you don't. You said you wanted to start a podcast.
I do.
I think you should.
I definitely think I should too. I mean, I just feel like I have so much to say.
Right.
So many experiences with various things. Like, I feel like I should definitely start one. I just need to figure out like what exactly to like talk about.
That's the hard part because where we started is not even the same idea. Because we started, it was going to be just me and Forrest always, and we were going to bring one topic each episode, and it could be anything from like some paranormal story to some like weird history thing.
Yeah.
And me and him were just going to tell it to each other, but we wouldn't know what we were going to talk about.
Okay.
So we kind of like, oh, well, this is crazy. I found this out. We did that for like 3 episodes, and then we started to decide like we're like, oh, we could stream it instead and do the
Okay.
same thing. So then we started getting into streaming, and then we're like, well, it kind of is a lot of time and effort to actually research enough stuff to bring a topic every time.
So now you're just like, fuck.
Yeah,
Yeah,
now we
just
just
talk
kind of
about
go. Yeah, we just
See,
talk about
I
it.
feel like the best podcasts do that though.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
just kind of like, you know, bring someone on, just talk about it.
Yeah.
Right. Bring
That's-
people on who want to talk.
For sure.
Yeah, I just like hearing, cool stories, and everyone's got different stories they want to tell.
For sure. Dude,
I think
for
that's what's
sure.
nice, at least about us, is like, all these bigger ones, they have famous people or whatever,
Yeah.
but it's like, you're not gonna hear any of these stories from,
Famous people.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there might be some famous people.
that's true.
Right.
That's
Like
true.
I was watching an interview with Steve-O, and he did the craziest shit.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
he's-
but that's Steve-O.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, some of the stuff I heard, I was like, my god.
yeah. The one crazy one I did here was the singer of Smashing Pumpkins. He was on Joe Rogan.
Billy.
Yeah, and he was
Yeah.
telling some pretty like wild
That guy has
stuff.
a crazy life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because he was talking about like just like his childhood, and,
Yeah, with his
and then he was talking about
dad.
shapeshifters. So I was like, what? is
Yeah.
go-
Yeah. I saw that one too.
Yeah.
Some wild stuff.
Hello, how you doing, Seminole Girl 2000?
Welcome. I'm going to start a podcast where I lick mayonnaise off of Wes. Hey man, bring it on.
Shit.
Guests join in and can't talk. They just have to watch it.
That's a wild one. It may work for a while. There's becoming so many podcasts now. It's become
It's,
such a
I think now's the
saturated
time to
market.
do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
I think we got in right before it was even bigger.
So that's what I'm saying. Hopefully we're good timing, but not.
The thing though is there is a lot of podcasts, but there's so many that I see like they get to like the same range of like 9 to like 30 episodes,
Yeah.
and then they stop.
Well, like every one of the like Channel 2 news dudes, they each have their podcast, and it's
Yeah.
like Jeez, it's everyone.
Yeah, everyone. Yeah, but I think
So-
it is still time to do it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
still
They're
it's
taking
fun.
off.
Even if
Yeah.
we don't really, ever take off, it's still, it's fun to do. So
Right.
Shit, yeah.
We definitely
'Cause-
grown a lot.
yeah,
from
because we
When did you guys start?
December last year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
it's not too long.
2017 or 20?
2017.
Yeah,
2017,
2017.
Yeah, so what?
Yeah, that's way
8
cool.
months in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fun. And then every other night we game stream now, so
That's cool.
switch it
Yeah.
off.
So you guys do podcast game stream, podcast game
Yeah.
stream.
Yeah.
Do you guys bring people on every time?
We try to.
Yeah.
If people want to come on, then definitely. If people don't, then me and him will just do it.
That's
yeah.
way cool.
Yeah. Yeah, running out of stuff like, because everyone was like, roasting like, why are you playing this if you're not good at it? So I was like, yeah, fuck you. I'm
That's
just...
me with games. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's fun. Meet cool people, streaming, and
Yeah, we definitely met a lot of cool people just from
yeah, just
coming
doing...
into the podcast to watch.
Oh, that is cool.
Plus, meeting people who want to be guests is also awesome because you actually get, different viewpoints from people who live around here that you may
Yeah.
have never gotten before.
That's
it's-
true. I bet you guys learn all kinds of crazy shit.
Yeah, we
Wow.
also learned that the world is super small. Everyone knows each other.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like
it does. Yeah, it
we-
seems like it.
Everyone we've had on always has a connection with another guest. It seems.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had a few like, wow, that's cool.
You had him on or her on, and we're like, yeah. And like, oh, I know them from blah 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 blah.
Yeah, we've
Like,
had like a couple of times where like two people came on and they didn't know each other came on and they were friends. Like, oh,
Yeah.
they came on too.
That's like at the same time.
No, like
Oh.
a different day, but they're like, we're just talking about something. Like, wait, and I think like I don't know, so it got brought up who the friends were. Like, dude, we had them on like a week ago.
Yeah.
They just didn't know.
Man, that's hilarious. That is a weird coincidence.
Yeah.
It does seem like everyone knows each other some
Yeah,
way.
especially around here. It's
Yeah. So you guys live in Bountiful?
yeah. I
Oh,
live
that's cool.
down in Woods Cross. Close, but
Yeah. You say
Oh.
you live in Salt Lake though, right?
Yeah, I live downtown.
You like it downtown?
I love it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It can be expensive, but it's
Yeah.
worth it for sure.
Yeah, I have a friend that lives downtown. He lives like right across from Bar X. If you know what Bar X is.
Okay.
right?
Yeah, for sure.
So
Yeah, that's what's up.
yeah, it seems fun, but it also seems like a lot going on sometimes.
It is. I think that's why I love it. I love just cities. in general. I'm not like an outdoors person or anything. I like being in big cities.
yeah.
Like, the goal is to move to New York eventually, but there's always stuff going on, and I live in the lower avenues,
That's
so
a nice
it's
area
like
too, so-
1-2 streets away from like central cities.
Yeah, so you're not
It's
like
a good, but I've never had anything like. I actually have had some crazy stuff happen by my apartment, but it's pretty tame. Like, it's really quiet
Yeah.
neighborhood. I'd say it's a nice area. It's not in the ghetto at all.
Right.
you
Yeah.
know?
My brother just said I was at coffee break at 1 a.m. and a tweaker was slamming someone's car with a bike lock.
Oh, coffee breaks the time, man. I've seen
Right.
some interesting individuals at coffee break.
Right? My friend used to, cause he used to have an e-cig, and he would go back and use his e-cig, and then like all the hipsters are, oh, you use an e-cig while they're smoking their cigarettes. Like,
right.
oh man, it's like
Oh, man.
fucking hipsters, shut up. The funniest is like for a while, like they don't anymore. Like all the hipsters were calling cigarettes analogs. You don't smoke analog.
Oh,
I
yeah.
heard that. Yeah, I heard that's crazy. Analog. Like,
Downtown's
that cracks me up.
downtown's definitely a whole different area than it was just 4 years ago.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so. Like, it's everyone's moving from California and whatnot up here because it's cheaper and all the jobs are coming up here now, and it seems
Yeah.
like the big boom of hipsters has been going on.
Oh my God, yeah. Sugar House. Oh, so many.
Yeah.
There's a bookstore on every corner.
Oh, yeah. And a
Coffee
coffee
shop,
shop.
yeah.
Coffee shop
Ugh,
everywhere.
fuck.
Yeah, and record stores.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. Even downtown, there's always there's hipsters just everywhere.
I think it's cool because it's finally bringing like that spice to Utah that we needed.
Yeah, that's
But at
for
the
damn
same
sure.
time, it seems like it's brought in a lot more like bullshit. Like, there's always like
Yeah, a little bit of both. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
I just don't want it to become like too Portland.
it's
Like,
saying,
yeah,
oh my God,
Portland would be bad.
I'd move. I think Portland's a cool place.
oh, for sure, but
And like, I think the city itself is badass.
Yeah.
But like, just that extreme leftist,
Yeah.
I cannot handle that shit.
no.
I feel like I'm right in the middle,
Right.
but like that extreme.
Yeah, I try
liberal-
to stay.
I try to stay. I usually
Okay.
on my Facebook stuff I don't really talk about politics too much.
Yeah.
It's just you bring up politics and fucking
People lose their fucking
people
mind.
lose their shit. But yeah, I like just that extreme leftist stuff. If Salt Lake becomes too,
Yeah.
you know, like if you talk to someone and you know they get mad at you for like them not consenting to you to talk to them.
Right. Yeah. Politics is worse, I think, than any other subject nowadays.
Definitely.
Besides, if you get like in discussions with individuals and like the whole LGBT and different things like that,
I mean,
that's
those are still political.
Yeah,
in
still
a way.
political.
It's like, you do you, but don't fucking push down my face.
That's
Right.
I'm the same way with that. You know, like I fully support all that stuff. You know, I go to the
Yeah.
Pride Festival and scare off the protesters.
Yeah.
But like, I don't need to be it forced down my throat.
Yeah,
like you
that's
said.
what I'm saying. I'm like, I don't
have to say a pronoun.
That's what I'm
I
saying.
don't want to.
Like, if I say your wrong pronoun, like, it's not like I'm being fucking hate speech to you.
Yeah,
It's like,
exactly.
I don't
it's
care
like-
what you do, you know, be happy, but
Yeah, I'm the same way. Like, do whatever you want. Fucking, you know, if you transition into a girl, consider call you a girl, whatever.
Yeah, whatever
But
you
like,
want.
I'm
Just
not
don't
gonna feel bad
freak
if I call
out.
you something wrong. But,
Yeah.
you know, if I don't call you Zim or
Yeah.
so many
Yeah.
new ones.
yeah, if you're
I-
making this stuff up, then it's like, okay.
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
Yeah.
I know Canada passed a law where you have to call them with a proper,
Mhm.
and I'm against that. I don't think you should. I think that's
No, that just
that interrupts freedom of speech.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have to say anything.
yeah, exactly. Like, you shouldn't be so offended that this fucking asshole doesn't want to call you a pronoun. It's like, who gives a shit what that guy thinks about you anyways? So
Well, and the part that I don't understand is I feel like the ones who do get extremely, like, just very angry if you mispronoun them are the ones who want that confrontation.
Exactly. It's like their entire life.
yeah,
Yeah.
It's like they're not even an individual anymore.
No.
They're just
They're
this
that group.
group. Yeah, and that's. I mean, I think I made a post about that yesterday.
Yeah.
Collective, group collectivism is
Bad.
just. I'm all for LGBT rights, but I
Yeah.
don't really like the community.
The mob mentality.
I'm
It's
all
always
for.
bad.
Obviously, I'm against racism, all that stuff. But I
Yeah.
don't really like the Black Lives Matter community specifically,
yeah,
because it's just when people start thinking in such extremes like that,
exactly.
it can be, it can cause problems.
Like,
For sure.
I'm not racist just because I'm white. Like,
Yeah, and that's the same thing. It starts. That's what happens. Is it'll become to the point where it's racist against the other, or same with feminism at this point. It's not even feminism. It's
No.
it's fucking.
It's hating men.
It's misandry.
Yeah.
Misandry? Yeah, it's the opposite, or the female counterpart of misogyny.
Yeah.
Right? That's all it is. So same thing.
My big thing, and I just don't know how to word it yet. Like, I've been working on this idea of, not even idea, and I don't even think I'll ever like write it down or whatever, but everyone wants to group people together. So like, let's say, a percentage of men are, the gross pigs that they talk about,
Yeah.
but not all of them. So when you
No.
group all men in, like, we're not holding people accountable, like individuals accountable anymore. It's more of holding groups accountable.
Exactly, and that's what we need to not do. Because
Right.
if everyone is, everyone's sexist, everyone's racist,
Right.
it takes away from the actual individuals who are actually being racist, sexist,
Right.
or whatever.
yeah,
I totally agree, and like, there definitely are men who are like that.
Oh, for sure.
I don't
for
think
sure.
it's as prevalent now as it was in previous generations. Still prevalent, but it's not.
Not as. Yeah.
But I see more women saying "I hate fuck men," than I see men being like "fuck women."
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. I just think it comes down to, like, you might know someone by the name of whatever, Joe, who, is a rapist, or, he wants sex for jobs or whatever.
Yeah,
That's Joe.
that's
that's
not
not-
men.
That's not West Dax Forest. Or that's not whoever. It's just like that group mentality, but we'll get grouped into that.
Stalin did some fucked up shit. It's not the Russians.
Right, yeah,
You know?
Stalin was a dick.
Yeah, Stalin was a dick, but it's not the Russians.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
And it's just tough because, like, I've never really, like, been involved in groups like that. Like, I don't go out and like look for that. But I've had people like
that on both sides.
Yeah, and it's
for sure.
It's weird.
Yeah,
we live in the weirdest time I think
we
now for things like that.
And I think racism is definitely less prevalent than they make it seem. Like I don't know for sure because I'm Caucasian, I'm white. You know, like I don't really know. But just from what I've observed, it seems like it's not saying it doesn't exist, but it's far better than it ever has been throughout our history.
Oh yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
And it might be the area because I mean I don't know.
I mean, if you were in the South, maybe
it might be kind of rough still.
Yeah, but that is the Bible Belt too. So.
Yeah. Hey, weird. Hand in hand.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
Isn't that weird how that happens?
Religious. Fucking.
I guess that is the one good thing about hipsters is they don't hate anything but like white men. So
even white men.
Yeah,
even white hipsters.
We're making some progress, I guess.
The funniest was the other day. We try not to get political, but I'm gonna do it anyways. There was this. So she was a black conservative, can't remember, congresswoman or something, but they were the bunch of these crazy like extreme leftists were showed up and calling her a racist white supremacist, a black woman, because she's conservative, like you racist white supremacist, like,
and she was black.
A black white.
It's kind of like Milo.
Yeah, exactly.
It is
gay,
like
but
Milo.
He's not liberal.
It's so funny when they're like. They said something about Milo being racist. He's like, I suck more black cock. They're like, oh shit.
Milo cracks. I love how just
that guy's wild.
Pisses people
or
off.
Ben Shapiro. They call Ben Shapiro white supremacist. Like, dude, he got more anti-Semitic hate speech in 2016 than anyone on the internet.
So, right?
It's like you can't call an Orthodox Jew a white supremacist.
For real. Yeah.
It's like just come up with a new thing. That's what I hate. It's just the far left is just that's their thing to go to. You're a racist white supremacist. It's like
you're racist, sexist, homophobic, white yeah, transphobic.
Yeah, it's like
bigot.
It's like no people. You know.
I mean, I've gotten called all those many times.
Yeah.
Which is it's like
no, not even close.
Right.
You know, I'm all for equality, but like. You guys are doing it wrong. You
Yeah,
guys are gonna make it worse.
They are.
You guys are creating more of a divide rather than an equal environment that everyone agrees.
Because my dad's like super conservative, and it's like these extreme groups are just like making him more like.
That's what happens. Yeah. And
yeah.
I don't know like which side I can't stand more. Like.
It's
I
true.
don't really like sensitivity. I think it's just weak.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
I like that. It's just weak.
I think it's just, and people are going to
too.
disagree with me on that. And they're like, "Oh, being sensitive is an emotional strong." No, it's just weak.
Right.
But you know, evolutionarily, you know, survival of the fittest.
Right.
The sensitive aren't going to win.
No.
Anyway, but I don't know if I can't stand the far right, like God. Beer, fucking, you know, my tractor, you know, like extremely, like, you know.
Damn, what does Thomas say? He says, "My God, my truck, and my gun."
Yeah. That type. That's like, you know, that's just super religious and wants Bibles in schools and shit. Or the far left. It's like, you know, you just look at me. Is that sexual harassment?
Yeah.
Like, every bathroom's everybody's bathroom.
Yeah.
I saw that quote. I saw that on a quote from someone, and it had like a bunch of retweets and follows.
What did it say?
Everybody's bathroom, or any bathroom is everybody's bathroom.
Well, the one I
was like, so they're saying that anybody should be able to use anybody's bathroom because gender isn't
double
real.
Standard.
Right.
Fucking a girl walks into a guy's bathroom and be like, "Hey, what up?" Guy walks into a girl's bathroom. You fucking rapist, sexist. You know?
Right. That's
absolutely.
the funniest is like that the feminists are like. Even seeming conservative to some of them. They're like, no, you can't come in my bathroom.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like fucking so many double standards. With that shit.
Like you leave my tractor out of this.
I'm gonna start using the women's bathroom now. Good luck with that.
Yeah,
it's just weird because like you said, I think that because how old are you? Are you?
I'm 20, almost
20. Okay, cool. So yeah, you're similar age to us. Like I remember when the movement started happening for equal rights for. You know, gays, lesbians.
I remember that shit was legalized.
Like I do too. Yeah, and from my understanding, when I was a little bit younger and that started getting pushed hard, it was just like, you know, equality for everyone at their house, like equality for like they can go out and just be them. Like there's no big problem. Now it's like way more than that. It's like there's like this desire for more.
Yeah,
and that's what I don't get. Is like what do you want more? Because I know that there's still discrimination. I know it still goes on,
sure.
but as far as the progress you've made, it's way more than you've ever made.
For real, like.
And I don't think you're gonna get 100% equality. There's not 100% equality for anything.
No, I mean, I'm not trying to be communist socially, you know.
Right.
100%. There will never be 100% equality because we aren't equal.
Right.
Some people have strengths in different things. Than
Absolutely.
People. You know, I'm not equal to a mechanic because I don't know shit about cars.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
when it comes to religious studies or drugs, probably more. You know?
Right. Might beat out that mechanic.
Might beat out the mechanic. Yeah, but you know, they make it seem like, you know, we're all human, we're all equal.
Yeah.
Which I think, you know, we are all human. I don't think we're all equal. I mean, I
No.
think we should be treated equally and fairly. But I think that there will never be 100% equality.
No.
It looks good on paper, but it doesn't work.
No, it doesn't.
No.
Never will.
Never will.
So I just don't know what there's still just ginormous pushes of, you know, more equality and more equality and more equality, because you're just, there's at a point in time where you got to cut while you're ahead, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like that point is coming up soon, if not already passed, for a lot of this movement, for a lot of these movements, because it's almost getting to the point where you've gotten so much equality that you're pushing your luck, and now you're, like Forrest said, you're making the conservatives hate even more.
Exactly.
It's
and
just,
like,
it's extremist.
and I think sometimes they want more than equality. They want more rights.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They want special privileges.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
No one should have special privileges unless you have special needs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Or like, yeah, exactly. If you have, you know, special needs, or I mean, if you can afford it, buy those privileges.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
yeah.
not like politically wise, like
Yeah.
don't buy the right to commit some crime.
Right.
But like, you know, you're more more privileges. You can spend your money, you can buy more things. You know.
Absolutely.
So but yeah, definitely.
So equality of opportunity is great. Equality of outcome is what people really want, and that will never happen. Right. Exactly. Yeah, I kind of feel like there was a point in time where we passed where even like far conservatives were kind of like, okay, well, we'll be on board, just like, because where it's at, it's fine. But now it kind of seems like it's almost gone too far.
It does. Yeah. I definitely agree.
I have no idea. Like, I can't argue with, because I'm like the basic. I'm a fucking straight white male, so you know it's like
same.
Who's
Yeah.
oppressing me?
Right.
Yeah, and I'll fully admit I've been pretty much like, I don't think every white person is privileged, but I think I'm just definitely privileged.
Yeah.
You know, I grew up in a wealthier household. You know, I've always been like, you know, treated really well.
Yeah.
You know, shit like that. So I'll admit it, but so I don't know half of these issues, like,
Yeah,
because I can't experience it firsthand.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? But
that's what I'm saying. Like,
just from my observation, my research.
what's the topic of discussion? I consider myself a conservative. We're just talking about all sorts of things right
Equal
now.
rights amongst all.
Basically
and-
talking about how a lot of the leftists have taken it too far.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But I think it kind of goes back to my point with the marijuana is like, you know, it's almost like the far leftists. I kind of understand, but like they forget that there are people who are super conservative who aren't comfortable. Now that being uncomfortable doesn't mean that they're against you, but if you come 100% over the top, you're just gonna push them away.
They're gonna be like, "Fuck this."
If you come in slowly and be like, "Hey, this is what we're about. This is what we do. I know you might be uncomfortable, but hey, we just want to build a bridge."
Wean them on board. Don't
Yeah.
just throw it out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We just need to get rid of that fucking cunt Jeff Sessions. He
Oh,
said that
God.
fucking CBD should be a class 1 drug.
He's a
Do you
fucking
know what
class 1
CBD is, you piece of shit?
Yeah, he's a dumb human.
He really is. I saw this one. It was this congressman or senator or some shit, and he was like doing a public prayer, and he was like crying. He's like, "I'm sorry that we don't have marriage the way God intended it." And the whole time I'm just like, this fucking dumbass.
Damn.
You're crying right now. That's one thing I just do not get, and like, this is gonna sound insensitive. I don't care. A lot of times, you know, I'd be like in church. I'll still go to church so much because I observe. You know.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And like, they'll like someone will go up and start talking, and they'll just start bawling,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just weird because like, I don't think there's anything that makes me that I'm not passionate about.
No.
Like, you know, they're just like, I just know this. I'm just like, God damn, man, like. It's definitely got some kind of hold on him.
See, I think the only thing that would make me cry that's that passionate if I just like woke up and there was just stacks of $100 bills in my room for some reason. I start shedding tears, but they're
I'm
gonna
like,
be glory.
Jesus, you are real.
I'm like, I'm sorry, man. You're real.
I take it all back.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. That I'd probably that's for damn sure. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, for me, I've had how do I word it? So for a time period, I went and experienced all the different churches because I grew up with the true, and I thank my parents for all the time, the true freedom of religion. They
Pretty
never
much same. Yeah.
Yeah, my parents never pushed anything on me. I never went to church. They were like, hey, you know, we have our beliefs and their beliefs are different. They don't share the same beliefs, my two parents.
Yeah.
And they're like, you can do what you want to do. We don't want to be the ones who take you to church and make you hate it. We don't want to be the ones who keep you from church so you know, become whatever. You do what you want to do. And
that's cool.
It was great because I was able to grow up with my own questions and research them how I wanted to come to the conclusion on what I have now.
Yeah.
But out of all the churches I've gone to, we do a lot of LDS bashing, but I'm going to do it again.
Oh yeah.
I went
about blasphemy.
Yeah.
That's my shit.
I went to a friend's farewell, and you know, I was right. Yeah, I was there just to support him. He's a great friend or whatever.
Yeah.
And this lady came up. You may have been there. It was Tyler's.
No, I didn't go.
You didn't go to Tyler's, and she went up there, and it was just the fakest shit I've ever seen. She was like, "So, I just want to thank everybody. Someone brought us food by, and they know we're struggling." And she's like, started like fake crying, like, and she went on this like little speech where like that's what every word sounded like. And it was because someone brought her over food.
Oh,
okay.
God.
And then, cut away from the mic, 2 seconds later, this emotional wreck of a human being, she's over like, oh, hi. I'm like, that was the fakest shit that I've ever seen in my life. That made my stomach hurt.
They do that, man. Like, they are, like, a lot of them are fake as hell. It's weird. Like, and I don't throw that term around, like, everyone in our generation is, oh, fake friend, you're fucking fake.
Right.
But they're like, they have this, like, this image that they put on themselves, you know, this like it's almost uncanny and kind of creepy.
Yeah,
you know, how
absolutely.
to me like, hi, how are you? It's just I'm just like, it feels like they have hidden motives.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
And like it feels like they have hidden motives. And another thing, I feel like a lot of them are scripted almost. Like they'll say,
definitely seems like it.
Yeah, they'll say like, and I've asked missionaries this before, and they always avoid the question. I've asked them, like, are you guys have a script? Do you guys have specific things that you're like told to say? And they no, we just have similar beliefs. I love Jesus. I know this church is true. It's like that.
That sounds
they'll be like, it just feels like a burning in the bosom. That's another one. Or I think the main one is, I know this church is true. I know Joseph Smith is the true prophet.
Right.
That I'll hear him say that all the time.
It's the same line too.
Same
Everybody says the
line.
same thing.
Yeah, it's like, you gotta branch out. Also, the white shirt and ties, man. Live diverse, man.
Yeah.
Come on, let's spice it up. Fucking wear a fucking green shirt.
Yeah.
If dude walked up and was wearing a Hawaiian shirt and it was buttoned down like 3 and was like, "Hey, you want to talk about Jesus?" I'm like,
"Fuck yeah,
come in, come in."
My guy.
Enlighten me. Yeah.
I think we missed something that I wanted to read from the.
Oh, he said, yeah. Being a police officer, I honestly wished we would just go ahead and legalize it. More strict laws on alcohol. I'd rather deal with a guy stoned versus a drunk any day of the week. I agree.
I agree too. Yeah, for sure.
As a person that drinks a lot, I agree with that one.
I really think I'm the right ship in the. Okay. I think it's a bathtub and a rubber ducky.
I think Salty and Yarl were just talking to each other.
Yeah.
Mormons are the thickest people.
Soon.
Well, it sucks too, because like for me, when the experience I've had with Mormon, like going to church, it seems like none of them want to be there. It's just a showing face thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's.
I think a lot of it's the community aspect.
Right.
They're part of something.
Yeah.
And one of my goals, and I don't know if this is ever gonna work. This is pretty outrageous, but I want to. Because I'm a really good liar. I can weasel my way in there. So what I want to do is, and I know enough about the Book of Mormon and the Bible. I know how the church works.
Yeah.
So I want to go in there and talk to a bishop. I want to get my temple recommend, and I want to go in the temple and film it. You know.
That would be the shit.
Yeah, and people have done it before.
Yeah,
like snuck it. Yeah.
But like years ago. I think we need an updated one.
Yeah.
Because I know. A lot of the shit they do is culty as hell. They say I'm in a cult.
Oh, it's yeah.
I mean, they have the the veil and like
You have
my
to
name is, and they have these. I actually know all the handshakes.
Yeah.
These handshakes. If you ever shaken, if you ever meet like with an older Mormon man, shake his hand like this to trip him out. You go.
Oh.
Yeah, it's called the sure sign of the nail, patriarchal grip. I've done that before, and they'll be like, "Give me the look, like how the fuck you know what that is, bro." Like,
So that's like one of their like
yeah,
hidden little.
They do it in the temple. Yeah, there's like 4 different.
I've seen that video where
handshakes.
he snuck the camera in.
Yeah,
and he
that
did
one
the
was
whole
crazy.
thing.
Yeah, and yeah, that's one of the things. Like I've done that.
So you
many
do
times.
the nail on top.
It's between these two. Yeah.
Interesting.
So yeah, and like the look on their face, just how does that look like?
How
No
do you
shit,
fucking
you
know
shouldn't be
that?
knowing. Especially because they'll look at me and be like, "Why does he know that shit?"
Right?
Yeah.
They're like, what the fuck?
"Yeah, for real."
Does this guy know?
Yeah, exactly. And I just kind of give them the look back, like I know what goes on in your little
Yeah.
temple.
You guys are playing games.
Yeah,
It is.
creepy shit, man.
Yeah.
I actually went in temple once, did like the baptisms for the dead.
That's the
or
only time
whatever.
I've ever been to.
And I was probably like 12, and at that point I knew it was bullshit. But I was
Yeah.
like, I'll go in there for see what's
That's
up.
same with me.
I went in there and it scared the shit out of me. I was like, this is weird, bro.
It is
Like
super
it just
weird.
gave off such a creepy vibe. The whole place, it's light and beautiful. I'm like, I didn't get a light and beautiful vibe at all. I got this huge thing with like these bison in there. And, like,
Yeah.
I'm just like, what the fuck is this? And everyone's like, so passionate about it and just so like, all the workers just seem so like working in unison, and I'm
Yeah.
just like this. And all the people I was with were all like, "Oh, this is great, don't you think, Dax?" And I'm like,
You're like,
"Fucking
you guys
Dax,
look at the same
bro."
shit I'm seeing. right
Yeah,
now?
what? How do you guys not know? This is fucking weird, yo.
I think that's the one thing that creeps me out too. Is so there was this girl that I was talking to, and I was really doing my best to try to
get it.
but she was really Mormon, and I found that out like the second or third date because she's all like,
Those are the best.
yeah, she's all like, hey, I'm gonna take you somewhere. We end up going to the fucking downtown church or whatever and walking around.
Temple Square.
Yeah, Temple Square. And I
Huh,
was
I've had
like,
some
oh.
times there.
I was like, fuck, this isn't gonna happen. I'm wasting my time. But the well-oiled machine they run there is creepy. Was what creeps me out because of how, like you said, how fluid everyone is. It doesn't seem.
Yeah.
It's not realistic in any other setting
isn't.
except that.
Yeah, it really isn't. And like, Temple Square, that's a place. I've had so many female missionaries like flirt with me there.
Ooh,
Like I'll be in
interesting.
there and I'll start talking to them. That's like one of my pastimes, just going in there, just fucking And some of them just know me. I'll go in there and they're like, "Why do you keep coming here?" And like, but this one time, I went in there with 2 of my friends, and we were in this like one of the chapel buildings where they have music playing, and we were talking to the missionary. It was very like respectful. It wasn't like "fuck your religion and your God,"
Right.
It wasn't like that. It was just, they're asking the normal like, "Oh, where are you guys from?" and stuff like that. This guy comes up. And I was on that supplement I told you about called Phenibut, right? So I was feeling really up, really good. This guy comes up, and he comes up to me. He's like, "Hey, I'm trying to listen to the music," and I thought I heard him say, "We should take this outside," but apparently he just said, "Can you guys take this outside?"
Oh.
And so I was like, "You want to fucking take this outside? Let's go, bitch!" And I was like ready. I like because I like to wear suits a lot. I was like,
Yeah.
Let's go, bitch. And he was just like, "What?" And my friends like Dax said, "We should take this outside, not you and him." I was like, "Nah, motherfucker, I heard him." I heard him, but luckily he just like,
I'm just gonna walk
and then just
away.
like walked away. But, yeah, that guy.
Oh, that's funny.
So my parents never focused church on me either. While I am Christian, I took.
Here, hold on. I got this.
Thank you.
Is that a little better?
Yeah. I took me myself to want to get to know the Bible. I think a lot of kids that have authoritarian, I can't say that word well, style parents, depending on how they are raised, they set for more hardships than the child raised to be able to. Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, like I respect. Like I know a lot of people that like were heavy drug addicts or just criminals, and they clean their life up because of religion. So if that's what it takes for them to be better people, it's like okay.
I had so my last relationship.
Yeah.
I'm a new girlfriend now, but when I was with my ex, we lived together in the apartment I'm in now, and we started seeing another girl together, right? We had the Trinity going. It was
Right.
time, and I felt like a badass. Anyway, and so she did that same thing. She was like a hell, and I didn't know this when we first started. You know, hanging out with her. So she'd she'd come over and we'd be hanging out. And so one time I just know like the looks of like someone's on some kind of opiate, because my dad was a opiate addict and whatnot. So I was just looking at her. I was like, you're on something,
Yeah.
And so one day I just talked to her about it. I'm like, yo, if you're on something, just tell me. I don't care at all. Just tell me. Don't steal my shit. And just tell me. Whatever. And she's like, heroin. I was like, oh
fuck.
Okay, the big boy, the godfather of all the drugs.
You're coming in guns out.
Cool.
I see.
All right. I was thinking maybe like, oh, I'm on a Percocet or
Right.
heroin. Wow.
Right.
Okay, so
how's that going for you?
Yeah, how is it? So, and she was fine with it for a while, and she was like, she was functioning, I guess.
Yeah.
And then one day, I get a text from her, or I get an email. She just like disappeared. I was like, fuck. So I get an email from her, and she's like, oh, I'm in a rehab. I was like, oh, okay. And then when she got out, she's like, hey, let's hang out again. And I was like, okay, it's not
Yeah.
to get it. And then we hang out there, and she's like, I've joined the LDS church. I can't participate in this behavior anymore. And I was like,
Cool.
It's like, what?
damn.
Just don't do the drugs.
Yeah,
do
I was
this.
like, don't do the drugs. Do us. But same thing. Like I'm like, you know what, man? As against as I am, it gets you off heroin.
Yeah.
As much as detrimental as I think religion is, I think
Yeah.
you're better off being religious than being a fucking heroin addict.
Yeah. Right.
So, yeah, that's crazy.
So
Yeah.
here's a tough question that I struggle answering sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think if there was no religion, we would be in a better place? Or do you think religion is extremely necessary to keep order?
I think religion should all burn to the ground.
Yeah?
All of it. I think that at least organized.
Yeah.
Organized.
Specific.
That's a problem.
I think my main problems is Christianity, Islam, Judaism. Not as much Judaism. They've had enough shit.
Yeah,
Honest to God.
they've gone through the struggle.
Like, yeah, they don't deserve it. But those are the three. Those are just the three top religions in general.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you got Buddhism and Hinduism, but it's mostly Christianity and Islam.
Right.
And it's not the members themselves. Some of them,
Yeah,
a lot
of course.
them, but it's just the belief system, right? I think that if Christianity and Islam didn't exist, or maybe not like suddenly just went extinct,
Right.
But just never
but
came into
either never. Well, I think it's contributed some things,
That's
but like I
true.
think if we keep going to the rate we're going now and just slowly have less and less religious people, more and more, because atheism is the fastest growing belief.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So if that just keeps going, and eventually, like, there's like hardly anyone who's
Mhm.
Christian. I think we'll progress tremendously fast. I feel like religion has held us back
Absolutely.
so much. Like, just so many things. I feel like that
Yeah.
would just be so much better. But yeah, I definitely think like I said, I don't really have a problem with Buddhism or Hinduism.
Right.
I don't believe in them. But I know a lot of Buddhists, and
Because theirs is more kind of like, even though it is organized, it's more like they just want to do their own thing anyways.
Yeah, exactly. It's more just the mass. I feel like a lot of it's just mass brainwashing.
Right. Absolutely.
But yeah, with Buddhism, I've never had an issue with them. I've gone to their temple to just talk to them, just chill as fuck.
And they always want to talk. They're just
Yeah.
like down to talk about whatever.
Yeah, and but Scientology just needs to go.
Yeah.
Like, Scientology. That's not even a religion.
Wait
that's
a second.
Cult.
You're telling me the guy who's written more fiction novels than any other author in the world shouldn't have a religion
Yeah.
about one of his fiction books?
I've read it too, Dianetics. I've read it, and it's crazy, man.
Yeah.
And I've been in there, and that place feels like something out of fucking like in a video game, like something out of like Half-Life 2 or something.
Oh, God.
Like, do you know, like an organization, everyone's in suits, and everyone's like the Institute and Fallout. It gives off more of that vibe, I walk in there and it's all like modern and urban. And
Right.
like, here, fill out this personality and IQ test, and come back and watch our video. It feels so like corporate and just like I just knew it was corrupt. Like. And there's probably one motherfucker sitting up top just raking in the fucking dough.
Well, because isn't Scientology basically pay to win?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like, is that
you
the
have to
whole
pay
idea?
to get to certain
Yeah.
levels, and then you have to use a Zeton meter to clear the alien cells out of your fucking some shit.
Gotta avoid the whatever.
Can't have
cells.
those,
So before we continue, it says no, religion should be a part of the world. Reason being is because religion is in part gives some peace. Some folks get peace from it. Others reject it. There's going to be more and more rejection as time goes on. However, it takes the person to decide what they believe.
I mean, lots of things give people peace that are also detrimental, like drugs, you know. And just because it gives someone peace doesn't mean it's good. You know, fucking drinking a fuck ton can be extremely peaceful. You know what I mean?
It sure
Yeah.
is.
He's like, I know. Yeah, and I'll drink too. You know, it's a good time.
Yeah.
But it's I definitely do not think the world is benefiting in any way by religion. I think if it's just slowly decreased, you know, gradual, you know, kind of taper them off.
Yeah. I think the gradual thing is the important part, because for me, what I fear more than anything else is how many, like, of the psychopaths will come out of the bush that have been hiding behind religion.
Yeah.
That's what scares me the most out of anything.
Just because there's probably so many people that we don't even realize don't do these things because they're more afraid of
God,
afterlife, you know, hell.
That's a good point. That is a good point. But like the thing is like, that's not like, if the only reason you're not doing shit,
then you're screwed.
Then you're nuts.
You are nuts, and that's what scares me. People who
That's-
said they are truly God fearing are people I'm not comfortable being around.
Oh God, me neither.
So I would be very wary of like how many people would come out of the bush.
God fearing are the fun ones.
Yeah, they are the fun ones.
Yeah.
But they are.
I've had a few. There's been a few times I'm like, is this dude about to fucking shoot me or
Right.
something? Like, you know, like, but yeah, that is a good point. Like, how many people are just hiding? Like, the only reason I'm not killing someone is because God said not
God
to.
said not to.
God, I mean, because, you know, like, every day, like, you know, there's probably some crazy people we don't even know we're like interacting with, like.
But at the same time, look how many things of violent acts being caused
That's true.
because of religion.
Very definitely.
Speaking
true.
of that, I think you're all says something that we should take into account, as well as the fact that some of the most violent places on earth are over 98%
religious,
meaning belonging to one of the big religions, i.e. Christianity mainly. Yeah. So, I mean, violent... Throughout history, violence.
That's the
and
thing, is
religion go hand in
extremism.
hand.
And, like-
Extremism in anything is bad.
Yeah.
And like
If
all,
we could just have mild people, like,
right?
like, I like this guy, you guys can like whatever you like.
Yeah, and like I have Christian friends.
Yeah,
you know, like
definitely.
I'm chill. I'm not gonna go over to him and be like, you know, Satan's better.
Right.
You know, even though it's, you know, all symbolic, but like, I'll fully admit I think that Islam contributes absolutely nothing. You know, every Islamic country has extreme oppression of gays, women,
Yeah.
you know, and then they're like, oh, then why are women Muslim? Well, because if they're not, they'll be stoned.
Yeah, they die.
Yeah, and you know, it's so strict and brutal that I just think, you know, and it's not a peaceful religion. I've read their book.
absolutely not.
No,
Not a
I didn't
peaceful
buy
religion.
it, you know. But you know, there are peaceful Muslims, of course.
Yeah,
they're not,
sure.
they're not, and it's not a terrorist thing at all. It's
No.
nothing to do with
No.
terrorism. It's just to do with the way the things the Quran teaches are just extremely sexist, extremely, you know, like the hardcore feminists. I imagine in America, I imagine if they went on over to fucking Saudi Arabia for a couple months, they'd come back and be like, "Sorry, I said anything."
Yeah.
you know.
Our bad.
The funniest is, I don't know if you guys saw it. They were like, a while ago, one of the big thing was gays for Islam. They were doing
Yeah.
protests. It's like, do you not know what they teach?
If you went did that if you went over in their country and fully admitted that you're gay,
Yeah.
they'll kill you.
Don't
Yeah.
know. They will kill you.
They
You
will
with
kill you.
boulders.
And and the other thing is the religion just dominates that entire Middle
Yeah.
East. Like it's not even like
Yeah.
as much the government. The religion just owns it.
No. And with the whole terrorist thing, anyone who thinks that all Muslims are terrorists, you're pretty dumb.
Absolutely. There's no, I mean, you know, there's definitely, I think ISIS gives Islam, and this is, you know, I usually don't side with religion, but I definitely think ISIS gives Islam a really bad rep.
Yeah.
You know? And like if I was Muslim, I'd fucking hate Islam more than anyone. It's
Oh,
like
yeah.
it's like me with satanic cults that are out sacrificing.
Yeah.
Shit. I'm like, you got fucking.
Makes
You're
it look
giving us a
bad.
bad vibe. It's not what
Right.
it's about.
And I
you
think
know?
the ones that are doing shit like that are fake. They're not.
Oh yeah, they're just
actual-
trying to be edgy.
It's always the
Yeah, it's
extreme-
like just edgelords.
Yeah.
It's always the extremes in every category that ruin it for. Because like to go, I'll just hit on this barely. Like to go back to the, you know, the LGBT thing. Like it's the extremes who are ruining it for all the ones who are like, who are just living their lives now happily.
Agreed.
You know, they probably look at that shit and be like, oh well, I don't want to be associated with anymore.
Pretty much.
So Reaper CT,
That's Chris.
Yeah, Chris. What's up, man? I was raised in a very strict Christian home. All my family is strict Christians.
Hold on one second, I'm getting an important phone.
Yeah, no worries. I remember blindly following it from fear of vengeful God and would live my life the way I see right instead by the way random guys see the gods. Yeah, exactly. So you were, I don't want to say brainwashed. I know that word is triggering, but you were taught to fear God. What's sad about Islam is the fact that during Middle Ages, they were some of the most mathematically and scientifically.
Definitely.
Yeah, they were ahead of the game. It was a beautiful culture. So, though, if you go look up the pictures of, is it Iraq or Iran in like the 60s and 70s?
Oh yeah.
It's crazy. It looks like us in like the 80s.
I don't know. I hate being called fucking racist because I disagree with the religion. It's like you don't understand what racist is. Like,
Yeah.
I disagree with their religion, not what the color of their skin is.
People just want to be victim. I believe in some of the teachings, but a ton I question. I think the Bible is a book that has been translated incorrectly in a lot of ways. Yeah, a lot of ways, and the book of way people interpret what we think of their time. I still believe in God, but I'm more science-minded, and yes, that can coexist. Absolutely can coexist.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah, no.
No, it's brainwashed. I must believe what the pastor said in the Bible. If I question it was a sin.
No,
and as a young kid, that would scare the shit out of you.
Yeah. Yeah, my thing is, I don't know what happens when we die, I used to be judgmental for groups, but it's like, now I was like, I don't know. Well, maybe they're freaking right. I don't know.
That's the thing for me is, like, I don't want to spend time in my life, like, any time, besides, like, researching. I don't want to spend time doing what I think would be right.
I forgot. I was going to bring it over. So it turns out that conspiracy book that I had was in my room the whole time.
Oh, it was?
Yeah, so I was moving my room around, and I was using it to hold up my box spring, because it was unlevel. So I was like, what's that book under my bed? And it's like conspiracies and, like, cult groups or something. I was like, oh, fuck, I've been looking for this book.
That sounds badass.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, that book was dope. Definitely to bring it
It's
over.
got weird, like, because it has, like, it's a, like, big book, so it has, like, everything in it, and like not like full details, but small sections of everything.
What's it called?
Conspiracies and like something groups, I believe. I don't know. I can let you know on the Facebook page.
Okay, yeah. Just
it's cool. It's just got like everything in it.
Yeah, a
so
bunch of different.
That's way cool.
Is there any conspiracies that you're into, or really buy or not buy?
I'm such a skeptic with just everything. If you couldn't tell,
Same.
pretty much everything I want to know.
That's him. Like,
I think there's some stuff with 9/11 that's a little weird.
yeah.
I don't think it was like, it was an inside job to go get some oil. I don't think that, but I definitely think there's stuff that they're not telling us about a lot of these,
Yeah.
Either mass shootings or terrorist attacks.
Right.
Like seeing the same people at every one. That's fucking weird.
Yeah.
Like, that's just fucking weird.
That is
And
weird.
like, it takes a lot for me to like say that's fucking weird. But that's fucking weird,
Yeah.
Seeing the same person at every one, like
that just doesn't happen.
it just doesn't happen. No, people don't. The same person doesn't live that many places.
No.
No one is that unlucky.
Yeah, that would be tragic if
Yeah.
they were. I think that's just the whole actor for media.
I think it is too, but it's still just weird. Like, it just makes them look bad.
Thoughts on Area 51 and what would our government be hiding?
I think it just Area 51 at least. I think it's mostly just like aircraft testing, things like that. Secret military stuff.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think too, if there was any type of alien or anything like that at Area 51, it would have been moved a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
I think it's just secret military testing is pretty much what it is.
I think it is too, and like honestly, I don't think we need to know what's in there
No.
because like if we found out, how do we know that fucking North Korea is?
Yeah,
gonna find
exactly.
out,
That's
the reason they're hiding it.
Yeah,
It's not
there's a
like-
reason why
Yeah.
they keep secrets. Like I don't think it should be released.
No.
It's secret for a reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm not like, just blindly trust your government, or be like the government's a fucking liar.
It's like, yeah, because it's gonna be cool stuff, but it's not gonna be anything like, there's this fucking ship that we have that's more stealth than anything else, stuff
Right.
like that, or like we have this weapon or something. It's like why do this fucking, why do I need to know that? I don't.
Yeah, Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I definitely think I think it would be almost stupid to not acknowledge the possibility of life
Oh, for sure.
outside of
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
I don't know if they've ever been here.
That's the thing, yeah.
It's
I don't know if
tough.
they've been here yet.
Yeah.
But there's definitely.
But to say there's nothing.
But say the universe is so big and expansive. There's no way to be like.
It's just like
nah.
statistically, it's like.
Well, and I think that's anyone who denies the potential, like, I don't know what word to use, but denies that there is life outside of our Earth is kind of like is it a selfish thing to say, or I don't know what word to use for it, but it seems kind of bullshit.
Yeah.
Like,
You want to go like 10 more minutes? I work with both of you.
Yeah, that works for me. I just think it's kind of like there is such a vast universe that we're going to deny that there's even a possibility. That's being really...
Yeah. Oh, that's the only thing I don't get is to say that there's nothing like at all. Well, they have found so many things on Mars linking it to Earth. Yeah. They just found fucking water under the surface.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's insane.
They're gonna find some sort of organism in that
We're gonna be there at some point.
Yeah, absolutely.
They found them on like just asteroids and shit. Like that could have been a single-celled organism. So it's like,
I think you guys heard the simulation theory.
Yeah, that one's wild.
It does. But like, there's no way to prove it wrong.
That's why it drives me nuts.
Yeah.
It fucking hurts my brain.
It does. I mean, I was watching stuff on that last night, and I watched a super long video and read a bunch of stuff on it, and I was just like looking around, like, and I have had weird, like, I would consider a glitch in the Matrix happen. I've had more of those than like paranormal.
Yeah,
me too.
Yeah,
same, like a consummate.
Yeah, like this one time I was younger. I was probably like 15, 16, something like that, and I was with my mom downtown before I moved down there, obviously, and she was talking with a friend in some coffee shop. So I just went outside, sat outside, and this guy, he walks. So I'm like sitting on the front patio. Yeah. Okay. And this place is called Nostalgia Coffee, by the way. Okay. This dude, I'm sitting on the front patio right here. This dude walks out, and he's got a suit on, and just like a hat, like a kind of a flat brimmed hat, just normal looking like businessman kind of. Yeah. And he had a briefcase. He just walks out and then walks around the corner, and then he's gone. And then like 4 seconds later, the same guy just fucking. And like it wasn't like I was watching the whole. I was just kind of like looked up and I saw him walk around, and then I looked up again, saw him, same guy, and I was like,
damn.
And I've been trying to think. I tried to think of every logical possible. I like went behind there, I was like looking for a door, or something. Maybe he like forgot something, but I was like looking forward, like I would have seen him walk back. Yeah. And that tripped me the fuck out, man. That's still. I'll be watching these simulation videos and I'll like think about that time, and I was like, someone controlling me.
Yeah, like kind of like all conspiracy stuff. That's like one of the weird ones to me. Cause like I think about constantly, what, like, did that actually happen?
All right.
I don't know. I see weird shit all the time. Did I see that, or am I just what's happening? Did I see that shit? That's my problem.
The only one that's getting me all sweaty neckbeard lately is like that documentary where the guy says the 10-part plan for the world to become united or whatever is like he says we're on like step 8 or 9, and step 10 is an alien invasion, whether it's actual aliens or like humans pretending to be aliens, because they feel like if there was a foreign something foreign that's not on Earth to invade, it would unite all the countries that aren't united, because they would have to fight against something outside of it. And I read a bunch of research into it, and I'm like, okay, like I get like where they could think this, but now I'm starting to see so many like social media, so many like movies, so much TV that's all based around alien invasions, and it's coming back into the limelight.
That's true.
And I was like, that's kind of weird. Like, why?
That is a little weird. I mean, I think invasion's obviously possible.
Yeah,
I definitely. I don't know if they're.
I don't think it would be actual aliens, but I think maybe they're the leaders of the planet, as I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Could do something.
That's very true. People like I like the ones people think like. Remember, people thought Obama was a reptilian.
Yeah, the reptilian overlords.
I mean, Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah,
he is a robotic.
He was.
Yeah, he is.
He something is off. Like
homeboy's AI for
and he's
sure.
just like,
right.
Yeah.
Just
It's just
Something
so
like Twitch, isn't it?
awkward, man.
Fuck.
Yeah, just
It's like the funniest are like the memes. It's like drink water like humans, and he's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm the same way with conspiracies though. Like, I think people spend too much time on conspiracies sometimes, especially ones that are old, because it doesn't matter anymore. Sadly,
Yeah.
like the JFK one, that's one that I'm pretty sure that there's more to the story than
Yeah.
we've been told. But in
Oh,
reality, even if they come out and said it, nothing would change.
No,
No.
nothing.
They just be, oh yeah, there was a second shooter.
or they would just be
Okay.
like, oh yeah, our government at the time. That's not us now. That's the old government.
Yeah, they set it up to
and we're like,
get him out of power. They're like,
Yeah.
oh shucks, we shouldn't let that
yeah.
happen.
Then we just
again.
say, oh okay, I guess we're right, and then we just move fucking on because
No.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah, it wouldn't really make a difference now. It's too
Yeah.
late for that shit.
Right.
You know, and like I like the one, you know, oh, the Illuminati. There's a new world
Oh,
order
yeah.
of a bunch of, you know, satanic like. I'm like, fuck, I wish.
yeah.
But I highly doubt it. But
Yeah.
if all the politicians were just like satanic as fuck, I'm
There
like,
you go.
sign me up, son.
Well, what's
Fucking-
that one convention they go to that's really fucking crazy?
Oh, Bohemian Grove.
Yeah.
that one's weird
That's-
because they do some weird rituals there.
That's weird as fuck.
Yeah, that's some
that,
weird stuff.
I watched that video, Alex Jones. Like,
Yeah,
and like they're like, you know, the cremation of care, where they're
Yeah.
like, you know, they have the burning like figure of and I'm just like,
what?
like,
You
Alex
guys up
Jones
to?
is off the internet.
that's bullshit. Too.
Isn't
Yeah,
that
that's-
fucking crazy?
Well, it's
I
like
don't like him.
obviously he's not. He's doing this to fucking. It's making him a lot of money.
Yeah.
He could be this crazy. Maybe he's not. You know, but it's like
He knows what he's doing.
who cares what he's saying? It's like
Freedom of speech, man.
Yeah.
You can't fucking take him off. Like,
because as soon as like you know.
like I can't stand him. I think.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, no,
I think
definitely
he's
not.
just a fucking meme.
Me
I think
too.
he is too.
I mean,
But
freedom of speech.
That's
like,
the thing, shutting him down. It's like, okay, well, this is the first step. Now, what are we gonna be okay with next?
I think I'm
You know?
more against censorship than I'm anything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
else,
absolutely.
even more than religion.
it's like yeah, who gives a fuck what he's saying? You know,
Like
like
clearly he's a nut job. Just don't fucking listen to him.
Yeah, if you
And if anything, that's gonna make him seem more credible.
yeah,
absolutely.
Because then he's gonna be like, see, they took me off the air, and people are gonna be like they'd be like, why? You know, he'd be like, why did what? People are gonna be like, what was he saying that people don't
yeah,
want?
he's gonna find another airwave to get onto, and he's gonna be 10 times bigger.
Yeah, because they're gonna be like, shit, they took him off for a reason. Like, what are they hiding from us?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And Rizm, your idea of the aliens being introduced in the society again to say maybe they do find stuff on Mars, possibly, because I think that our planet right now would be shocked by stuff like that, because it could potentially make you question a lot of things. Because if we do find out without a doubt that there's aliens out in the world, I think a lot of people would start questioning their beliefs.
yeah.
I think so too. And did you guys hear the thing with Kanye in his speech? That conspiracy.
Which one?
So he went on this. He was doing a concert. And he went on the speech, and he's like, "They're lying to you." He said all this stuff,
Mm.
and then he ended up in the hospital,
Mm.
handcuffed and taken to the hospital that day. And then the next day when he was released, Trump was there with him,
Yeah.
and like it showed an interview of like him just standing next to Trump, and they both just looked like, and Trump just shows up at Kanye's hospital, and then the reporter was like, "So, what are you talking about?" He's like, "Oh, nothing. We're just good friends.
Hmm.
Have been for a long time.
yeah.
Good friends." And like, I don't know, they just look suspicious. Like,
Yeah.
you know, Trump heard Kanye say something and was like, "Motherfucker, don't say that."
Yeah.
Because I knew that they do have a friendship, so maybe
They do, yeah.
it was some weird thing like, hey, you shouldn't be saying that. shit,
Yeah.
Yeah,
motherfucker.
but it's weird for the president to show up at
Yeah.
your hospital.
With Kanye.
Yeah.
Ironically, after you say a speech about being
Exactly,
lied to.
yeah. I think he probably showed up like, hey,
Kind of weird timing.
hope you're doing well. Stop saying shit, Kanye.
I'm not sure about Kate Spade. Haven't heard anything about that. I'll have to look into it, Risen.
Kate Spade.
I don't even know if I'm familiar with who that is.
I don't know who that is either.
Thought we can look it up real quick just to. Yeah, but I haven't really.
Is that David Spade's daughter?
Yeah, I don't know anything about her. Just barely died. Fashion designer.
Hmm.
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
I've never even heard of Kate
Yeah,
Spade.
I haven't heard anything about that either. I'll have to look into it.
Definitely.
She was major purse designer for women. Huh, yeah, I'll look into that one. But yeah, I don't know much about it.
Not too much into purses.
Yeah.
My fashion game's a little on the weaker side.
I got rips in my jeans because I'm too cheap to buy new ones.
I have like 12 pairs of just straight black jeans. I don't know why I have so many.
Yeah. I like black jeans too.
I have like 6 pairs of the same exact black shirt that I bought on sale.
Yeah,
6
same.
for
I have
one.
just plain black t-shirts, then I have various dark colored like button-up shirts. That's, like,
Right.
my shit. Yeah.
If I had more money though, like
Dad.
everyone's
I'd
like,
be a pretentious motherfucker.
Me too.
with a lot of
Same.
money.
I would have
Same.
nice clothes. Like fuck, I don't give a shit. I'm spending hella money on this shirt.
If I had the money to drop, man, I'd be like, I'm gonna buy this fucking $5,000 shoelace. You know?
Yeah.
Right? That's what we all.
Because I can.
Right? We always talk about that. Like,
Oh yeah.
what if we guys got famous doing this and made a bunch of money? Like, you're probably not gonna like me as much.
Yeah. I think honestly, I'd be horrible to like.
Yeah.
I'd be so, you know.
I would try
probably
not to be
an
a
ass.
dick, but definitely
I'd try not to, but I feel like it might.
I
get to
would
me
be
a little
showing
bit.
up, you know, with nice ass fucking
Well,
clothes.
let me
Roll
quote.
up in a new car every time.
Yeah.
Let me quote Forrest. All I want to do in life is throw money at peasants.
Yeah, as soon like that's my dream, to get to our 10-year reunion and just call all those fucking assholes peasants. Like, fuck you, peasant.
Right?
That would be cool. Yeah. Oh man. You mean like a high school reunion?
Yeah, like the 10-year high school.
Oh yeah. If you're
Oh.
like, oh, you're a doctor? How much are those student loans? I got that right here.
Right. You have
Give me a drink.
You have 4 kids. I have $40,000 in my back pocket.
Oh god. Salty said, do you think Kanye will re-release the song Power but take out the I'm an abomination of abomination and replace it with I'm the Trump of the Trump nation?
I think he should
Just every time.
give him a cum ball. Oops, I mean gumball. There you
What
go.
the fuck? I haven't heard that one before.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
neither. Never heard that one.
Learn something new, I guess.
You guys ready to call it?
Let's
Yeah,
do it,
For you
man.
guys?
Definitely.
Perfect timing. I think it was a good one.
For sure,
All right.
for sure.
Everyone listening now and in the future, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. If you're not following, subbing on our social medias, we'd really appreciate it. Helps us grow. And if you want to be on the podcast too, fucking hit us up.
Yeah, we can start
We
doing.
love anyone. Come on.
We can start doing anyone outside of Utah now too. 'Cause,
Yeah, we can do video
Discord's pretty
now.
cool.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you have
everyone-
any social media you want to plug?
Yeah, anything you want to show?
Yeah, add me on Snapchat. It's just Daxman17. That's my
Perfect.
name.
There
So,
we go.
For sure.
yeah. Thanks everyone coming in, and we'll
Later.
talk to you guys later.